Okay, as promised.
You're handsome.
Have a drink.
I'm fine.
Loosen up, Icaron.
No, an owlbear.
Toddlers are easier to please than you lot.
Why am I wearing a shirt?
Patience? Have you no respect for showmanship?
Having performance issues, Roland.
Hush you, and behold! Adoring applause? You're too kind.
Remember when he could barely cast that?
They grow up so fast.
Never have I met such troglodytes. Now, pass the wine.
On my way. I like these people. They're joyful. It's contagious. I should speak up.
Think of it. No more caves, no more tents, no more running away. We'll be in a city with roads and markets and homes.
Yeah, no, I'm predicting this is going to last about 5 minutes.
Yeah, hells. I was hoping you wouldn't notice I was gone.
I mean, yeah, of course I noticed.
No. I'm deeply proud of you. A touch less so of myself. In truth, I don't feel in a festive mood, and I didn't want to cast a grey cloud over the night. These people are still in danger. 1,000 perils will still threaten them. They aren't ready to get on the road on their own.
I agree with that, actually.
You're good at it. You've given me some just by being here. But, off with you. This is your day. Have a dance. Enjoy the music.
Can't you tell why I really followed you here? I'm joking.
Some time alone beneath the stars, and I'll be back to my old self. Promise. Still, it's a night to remember. You've made sure of that.
Oh god, this is gonna go so badly. I don't even want to see what's gonna happen. We're gonna go back to never long resting, everyone.
As sour as this ale. We're supposed to be celebrating.
Well, go bother someone else then. Look at them all. Guzzling poison like we've the right to be happy.
Yeah, let's do a charisma check. Have a pint. An easy DC too.
Perhaps it'll make the evening more tolerable.
Yeah, just go relax, enjoy a little bit. You know something? Let me tell you a bit of story, if you don't mind. If you don't mind me diverging for just a second. Once upon a time, I was watching Star Wars for what had to have been the 4th or 5th time with a friend of mine, actually a couple of friends of mine. And one of my friends kept getting really uppity about the fact that they were celebrating in A New Hope. And the thing that kept pissing him off, shut up, Colgrove, was the fact that they were celebrating such a minor victory. The Empire hadn't been defeated. By this point, obviously, not only was the trilogy out, but the books had started to come out. So the EU was developing. We'd all read the Thrawn trilogy. I think this is about when the Jedi Academy trilogy was coming out. I'm not sure the exact timeline. I would have been somewhere in 92 to 95, somewhere in that range. I'm not sure the exact. Anyways, he was really pissed off because, like, you haven't won anything. The Empire is still there. We know this is going to go badly for them. They have to run in, like, the very next film. Why are they so eager to have this big, exorbitant, expansive celebration? And I remember even then, I was like, dude, they had a victory. And yeah, it was morale was the big thing I brought up, because this is when I started getting really interested in military history. Yeah, no, exactly. 040. The whole point he was making was kind of what's been brought up several times in this very camp, which is why I'm bringing it up. You know, these people got a win, not the win. They've got a long road ahead of them, and I almost guarantee that all these people can die. I almost guarantee it. Don't spoil. But I'm right, aren't I? You can just nod your heads quietly on the other side of the screen. I'm probably right. And yet, they still need some kind of morale. They need some kind of boost. They need some kind of celebration. They need some kind of victory. Because they need to have something. Because their momentum is a really big thing when it comes to mentality, when it comes to mood and tempo and just vibe. So if they find themselves getting stuck in the negativity cycle,
All right.
then that sucks. You need to have celebrations, even if it's a small victory. And in some cases, specifically because it's a small victory. Because you're doing so badly that this is the best thing that's happened in a while. Consider all that's happened to these people. Yeah, exactly, Colgrim. Consider all that's happened to these poor freaking people. Is they've... Obviously, there's the events of the games, but remember, these people were just abducted by the Hells. Their entire city was dragged down into the highest layer of the ninth Hell. Of Avernus. And then they had to go through a whole massive campaign of people trying to use and abuse them. Barely managed to escape with their lives. And then when they did, they found that nobody wanted them because everyone blamed them for what happened. We've actually seen hints of that in this very game. So, yay. Anyways, I'm sorry. Getting off topic is just interesting to think about.
Everyone seems to be in high spirits. Strange. You know who I never thought I'd find myself caring for?
Refugees?
Exactly right. Never gave them much thought. Certainly not that bunch in the grove. Yet we came through for them. We saved their lives. Odd.
I don't think that's really odd. We did the right thing.
That's more easily said by some than others. But nobody's here to debate right from wrong. Share a bottle with me?
Sure.
We should wait a little while. Until the others have drifted off.
It's not what I meant by sharing a bottle with you. It's the abs, right? It's the abs. I understand. I get it. You know, I polish these scales every single day. I do look cool. I actually, unironically, enjoy the look of Dragonborn in this game. I'm glad we picked one. I mostly like the face. They've done... No, Sean! They've done a good job of giving us the ability to emote, despite the fact that that's the shape of our face. So, credit where credit is due. Okay.
Best not keep me waiting. I'd prefer not to entertain myself.
That sounds like a euphemism, but I don't think it actually is.
Remember what happened last time?
Maybe I'm just naive. I don't know.
And you magicked up a kitten. How was I supposed to know it was made of fire?
Would you look at this place? All these people happy because of us. It's nice to be somewhere where good is still possible. Speaking of, from where I'm standing, it looks like you and Shadowheart are getting more familiar.
We just...
She's a funny one. All pointy and secretive. But it seems like there's someone very sweet beneath it all, you know? Good to see the two of you getting along anyway. At least one of us is getting a little action.
I'm not having sex with Shadowheart. Now, I got that out of the way. No head and Oceans. I like how one of the dialogue options is, I've drummed up enough courage to tell you how much I like you. You enjoying yourself?
Fuck yes! I'm celebrating my freedom,
Okay.
and our friendship, and these folks' bright future besides. All I need now is a fire-retardant lover to get lost in till sunrise.
I mean, hello, Scales!
Not so much. You spend the whole time avoiding swords and schemes. Plus, people just get nastier as the night wears on. I tried to make friends at first. Learned my lesson fast. Better to keep to yourself in hell.
Oh god, you're right. Where silver is actually ice resistant. I don't remember which chromatic is fire resistant, the red equivalent. Is it bronze or copper? Hang on. Because gold is lightning, isn't it? Oh, jeez. I actually don't remember. Oh, gold is fire. And copper is also fire? Oh, there's so many fire dragons. Anyways, enjoy yourself tonight, Carlock.
You too, soldier. Enjoy yourself tonight. You've earned it.
Yeah, silver and white are the same. I remember that.
No.
I don't want to say it's bronze and green or bronze and black. God, it's been a while. Look, I didn't get rid of the music, okay? Bronze is lightning. Okay. I don't know, what's it worth? I've given him like 3 pets this playthrough, Shadow Machine.
See the water.
That's fine, just because you're watching this time.
Just a thought.
Okay, I literally can't give him pets, Shadow Machine.
You won't have to worry about us anymore. I'll fight anything we meet on the road. Anything. Watch out, Baldur's Gate. Shell's coming for you. You won't have to worry about us anymore. I'll fight. Watch out.
Okay, that was a little weird. That's sure. Okay.
Hope you're enjoying the night, hero. I certainly am. Cheers to many more like this.
You know, I never pictured myself as a hero. Never thought I'd be the one they'd toast for saving so many lives. And now that I'm here,
Yes.
I hate it. This is awful.
Why?
We killed some goblins to save some tieflings. The tally of lives didn't change much. But what do I get for all my hard work? A pat on the head and vinegar for wine.
Asterion, you're high. Adventuring is, not a joke, the most lucrative profession in the entire setting. It also happens to be most dangerous, but that's kind of how that works.
It's easy for some. You and Shadowheart seem to have a connection.
Oh my god.
It looks very sweet. Not what I'd call passionate or interesting, but sweet.
It's just sex, nothing serious.
I'm sure it'll be adequate. But you go ahead. Have fun.
Asterion, we're not friends anymore.
Watch your back.
We are neutral with him, consequently. We're actually neutral with her, but better neutral. We're really high in trust with the evil lady. That's weird. That doesn't indicate anything about me as a person, I'm just saying. And I can't see the others because screw me. Okay, whatever.
I've got a long road ahead. Always makes my day better.
I have seen the Kithraki tear a screaming Neogi's legs from its belly to fashion into blades. Yet they could not match your nerve today. It was enough to drive me to madness. A pity for us you have promised your knight to the half-elf.
Why is...
No doubt you will satisfy your tastes for endless conversation.
Not many people Yes, yeah, where's my horny bat? Wah, wah, wah. Not many people could turn that into an insult. I am grateful for your aid. You are a very gifted warrior. And she is. She has been one of my most persistently useful party members in the entire playthrough.
Vlaakith demands of me no less. If only I might lay claim to my proper trophy. Come morning, you will wonder.
Would you?
Wonder how my lips might have tasted.
Oh my god!
Fingers on your skin might have felt. Oh, but do enjoy yourself this night. I intend to myself. Astarion looks particularly tempting.
Okay.
You have no idea how good it feels to see these people smiling. The singing we could probably do without, but even so, thank you.
You're welcome.
Go on now. Don't waste a night like this talking to me. We'll discuss your problem tomorrow.
There's other things we could do besides talking. If you know what I mean. Thank you, Ross. If you're unemployed, maybe stop subbing while you get settled. You know? I understand. I get it. Life is tough all around. My own, not to get real for a second, my own income has actually dipped quite a bit this year, gradually, because there's just too many people who can't afford to support me anymore. So, first of all, you know, I get it. That's life. And second of all, thank you for those of you who do keep supporting me somehow, so I can keep, you know, making ends meet and keep doing this. Appreciate you. Go mingle.
Later, perhaps. Don't worry about me. A night under the stars amidst nature's creation is just what I need after being locked up in the goblin's dungeon.
Oh, I'm playing it up, Gigapudding. I'm playing it up.
Seek out some wine before it runs dry. There are a lot of thirsty people around here.
You're telling me! You want me to actually talk about this topic for a second? Because there's a lot of directions we could take this topic. Let's take this in a purely narrative perspective for just a second.
Goblin King in the head.
So
ferocious. That's what I keep.
Narratively, it's hard to write good relationships, romantic relationships. It's one of the reasons why, it's one of the reasons why I tend to get so irritable. It's why I get so irritable at things like the Romance of the Week over in Star Trek, or why I have a reputation, perhaps ill-deserved, about being irritable about romance when it comes to fiction. It's because usually it's done badly. That's my issue, really. It's not the fact that I dislike romance, it's the fact that usually people screw it up. You know, by contrast to that, Rox, Tia and Maxim, in both directions, was actually quite well done. Yeah, go ahead, Bragman. Although I bet it's something I've already guessed. That's not what I mean, though, Gigapudding. I mean, it's badly written. I don't mean, like people... Execution matters. Presentation matters. Specifics matter. It's almost always crap. I'm not upset because they have a fling of the week. That's not the issue. Lots of people have flings. In fact, one of the counterexamples I like to pull out of my hat here, and I do so regularly, is actually from, of all things, Star Trek Enterprise. There's an episode where the crew goes to Ryza to chill and relax. It's a surprisingly good episode. It's the best Ryza episode that Trek's ever had. And Hoshi just hooks up with some random dude. And that's it. It's a hookup, and they have sex, and that's it. But it's well done. It's well executed, it's well presented. It looks like two adults who decided to hook up for the night. And that's fine! Because it was properly written and properly executed. Make sense? By contrast, how many other random romances of the week in Star Trek from, you know, substantially more fleshed out and developed characters are just blah? Not because of the fact that it's a romance of the week, but because it's terribly written. You get my point? That's why I have that reputation. I'm not actually... Yeah, all of Kira's random hookups are a great example of this. I'm not actually anti-romance. I'm anti-bad writing. Now, I could go down that rabbit hole even further. But I only want to touch on one other thing. As absolutely bizarre as this is going to sound, I think games that focus on adventuring, like this one, which is an adventuring game, it's a CRPG, should probably do exactly what this very game is doing. Everybody's thirsty for everybody else, and you, the player, have an option to have sex with just about everybody. Or, actually, develop into a romantic relationship, because that makes perfect sense. There's a logical, natural development there to two people who are very close to each other, who are going through life and death situations and depending on one another in hostile and high-stress environments. Of course they're going to have some kind of attraction to each other, even if it's not even a quote-unquote real attraction, right? The problem there, and now, to leave Baldur's Gate 3 for a second, the problem there is that I've seen a couple of works try to do this, and it's just it's the light porno thing, right? It's the Skinamax thing. It's not two people have developed into this kind of a, you know, sexual relationship thing. It's okay, now we got to insert the sex scene. You know? And you see the difference, you see the distinction. Execution and presentation. So I actually appreciate what they're doing with this here. I fully believe that Kazel is going to go have sex with Asterion. And I fully believe that it's not going to go past that, but it's just two consenting adults, one of whom is feeling pretty good about herself, and the other one is feeling kind of bereft, and the two would naturally go bang. And that's fine, because the presentation and execution have been fine. This doesn't bother me at all. And yeah, even Dragon Age Origins, honestly, BioWare games dip in and out of this being ridiculous, sometimes within the same game. In some cases, the romance arcs can feel kind of, what? But in other cases, it can actually feel rather smooth and natural. This may sound strange, but I think one of the better romance arcs in Mass Effect 2 specifically is Jack, the one I mentioned earlier. Especially because of how easy it is to screw up if you're just playing it normally. Having to slowly work your way towards her, deliberately avoid having sex with her, open up as a friend, open up as a romantic partner, get close to her. That's a pretty awesome arc. And it is, again, like I said, in my opinion, pretty much the best romantic arc in Mass Effect 2 specifically. Especially since you can screw it up. No pun intended. Interesting, Bregman. That's fascinating. Listen, you gotta slowly manipulate her. You gotta slowly... Did I actually say that? Because that's not the word I was going for. And yeah, honestly, Geralt is another decent example of this. If I might be so bold, Witcher 3 had a surprisingly well-written, mature look at Yennefer specifically, which is the one I'm most familiar with. Their relationship develops and blossoms pretty naturally throughout Witcher 3, which is funny because I know they've been together for forever. But again, if you ignore all of Witcher and just look at Witcher 3, it's still well written, well executed, well presented, just within the game in question. You with me? And honestly, I actually do think the quasi-romance between Link and Midna was well done in Twilight Princess. Absolutely. Agreed. They feel like an old married couple, Kira White Noise, in a good way, and in a bad way. Anyways, I'm sorry, you brought this up, Giga, so I decided to go down the rabbit hole. But there is one other little asterisk here, and that's the gameplay axis of thing, because this is still a video game. And that makes it so much harder to do good romance, because, and it's probably one of the reasons why BioWare games tend to have both good and both bad romances within the same game. It's because of the fact that you need to design around player choice, which is honestly, like half of the gameplay of a CRPG. Anyway, so you have to decide, you have to give the player initiative, you have to give the player choice, you have to give the player options, you have to allow the player to fail, like we were talking about with Jack, and you have to give the player the ability to shut things down, which is a good example with Yennefer. Designing that adds a whole other layer of complexity, and, in my opinion, is one of the biggest reasons why most of the time they screw this up. And yeah, I was going to bring up Anders in Dragon Age 2 as a good example of how not to do that from a gameplay angle. I mean, arguably, Anders' romance in Dragon Age 2 specifically is not bad on the story axis, but on the gameplay axis, it's awful, specifically because of how it screws over player choice. We'll talk more about that when we get there, but for those of you know, you know. One moment. I will say, in general, yeah, screw Anders, if you know what I mean. In general, we're going to execute him, of course. In general, I would say that the exceptions, which I've already given away in my opinion, where they do romance right in video game are the exceptions. But the last thing I wanted to comment on, very, very briefly, is that there's this thing called the ante. It's ante up. You ever play poker? It's a real concept, and it's a real problem. It's also a non-sustainable problem. The idea is, if a big video game, big blockbuster video game, even if it's a blockbuster video game within its own niche, so if even within the RPG space, if there's a big video game within the RPG space that introduces a mechanic or a gameplay feature that all kinds of people love and like, then the ante has been upped, and now other games are going to consider it mandatory to include that feature, whether they want to or not. Now, that can lead to all kinds of problems, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because one of the biggest antes that's been mentioned for decades, because it goes back to the 90s, is romance options. We've talked about this. Romance options are considered mandatory for CRPGs because of this concept. Not because developers always want to include it, not because it really fits the format, but because they did it once, way back in the 90s. I'm not sure which one was first. It might be Baldur's Gate 1. I'm not sure. I don't know. But they did it. It was successful. The ante was upped, and now everybody has to do it. I'm glad that some of them can still do it well, and we just named several examples of that. But I do think it's a bit of a shame that this kind of concept exists, because players can and have complained when romance options are either not available or are too limited. Now, I think Baldur's Gate 1 had, like, extraordinarily limited romance options it could claw, if I'm remembering correctly. Kind of like Mass Effect 1, actually. And then in Baldur's Gate 2 is when they started going a little more hog wild with that, with the 3 women options. I could be wrong. I don't know Baldur's Gate 1 nearly as well as 2, because I've never beaten Baldur's Gate 1. And at this point, I probably never will. And I'm Googling it. Ah, that's why I thought that there were romance options in Baldur's Gate 1. Because they are. Now. These look like these were added with the Enhanced Edition. In fact, I don't even recognize these people. Nira, Rasadan, Bashir, and Dorn Il-Khan are apparently the romance options in Baldur's Gate 1. Enhanced Edition. Yeah. That's why I was thinking that. So, excuse me, I guess in that case it would have been Baldur's Gate 2, which then pushed it. And no, yeah, ironically, I'm just proving my point here. It was considered such an anti-feature that they had to add it. And yeah, this is something else I was going to point out, because I was correct. In the original Baldur's Gate 2 vanilla, there were 4 romance options: the 3 women and a dude, which says a lot. Well, let's not get into that. What's really funny is they had the good one, that's Aerie, also known as the Whiner, the medium one, Jaheira, also known as the Prat, and the evil one, also known as Verconia. I didn't like any of those. Those were all dumb. Yep, dudes hate romance. I'm getting off topic. Point is, I don't think this kind of a thing should be mandatory. let me walk that sentence back a little bit. I think it should be something very seriously considered for adding into a CRPG, like adding the Force to Star Wars. But you know me. I don't think the Force is mandatory to Star Wars, and I can point to the Andor show for proof of that. Listen, girls, Giga Pudding, I know you've never heard of the concept of a female, but girls don't play video games, okay? Now, excuse me. Who the hell was I talking to? Where was I? Okay, so I talked to Halson, offered to have sex, so let's talk to Volo.
Aha, there you are. Come now, settle in. I do hope you have partaken of something bracing. This may well take us all night.
What? What?
Why, you're naming, quite obviously. That ballad was but a crude preview, a frame without its crowning jewel. Your nom de guerre. Something iconic, but not too much of a mouthful. We don't want to exclude the common folk, after all. I intend this tale to enrapture all.
Do you have something in mind?
Far too much. This is the very problem. If you could set aside your many triumphs, carry out one defining act, not to belittle your achievements to date, of course, but besting a dragon, a giant, a god, perhaps. I must deliberate. Go. Enjoy your evening. I shall have work for you in the days to come.
Okay. Yeah, Volo is the kind of person who would get very irritating very quickly, which is funny because most of his cutscenes are short. I almost feel like that's a related thing. No, I would skip it, Ross. Why do you ask?
The moment we hit the city...
Hang on, let me summarize the Cloud Minders for us. The upper class are aristocrats, and the lower class trudge through the mines. Oh my god, there's a class disparity! And there's a girl in a hot dress. And there you go, there's the episode. By the way, Ross, I didn't see you put that sub towards anything. Unless you want to undo the sub and take the money back as unemployment, which is totally cool. It's worth noting. Let's go out to Gale.
Thank you.
For what?
I'm glad you sought me out. Amidst all this merriment, I wasn't sure we'd have a chance to speak this evening. I was hoping you'd spare me a moment. There was something rather magical I wished to show you.
I don't want to see your dick.
More's the pity you've already found someone else to make merry with. Just the two of you.
Gale.
There's something unspeakable about Shadowheart. But I mean that in a good way. She seems to me like a bud on the cusp of bursting into a rose. That, or deadly nightshade. Far be it from me, of course, to question your tastes.
Ruby, Streamination, 13 Sentinels in one shot. You got it. Thank you. Yeah, it's a TV show, Giga Pudding. You've probably never heard of it. It's called Star Trek.
That, my friend, must remain a secret for now. Or rather, for as long as you've eyes only for someone else among our troop.
Oh my god. Gale! Gale! You tease. They really want me to have sex with Shadowheart. It's not happening. I don't know, Lord Harriman. I feel like that would be a discussion in the meeting. To make my point very, very clear, Lord Harriman, it would be easy to convince me to add romance to a CRPG. It would. But my point is I don't think it's mandatory because I just don't think that way in general. I think it's something that should be questioned. Like, across the board, right? It's like, hang on. Should we have romance in, Dragon Age 4, right? Think about it, we talk about it, we've got this and this, here's our planned characters, here's our planned story arc, here's our planned character arcs for each of the characters, and we think about the options and the pieces on the board, and we think, yeah, okay, sure, we'll go ahead and romance. But that's my point, is that it's something that needs to be debated. And yeah, we've decided to go... No, as in, it has to be in, sorry, is what we're talking about, Dr. Winter. As in, should romance, is romance mandatory to exist within a CRPG. That's the point. If you're going to have romance be mandatory for the player, then screw you, Anders! Anyways.
Should mind my step.
I know I'm misspeaking because it's not actually mandatory. Kind of. Wasteland 2. God, I don't think Wasteland 2 did have any. Did it? I don't know if Wasteland 3 did either. I don't know. I do references video games. Okay, so are we good? Can we progress? Can we progress without having sex with somebody? If I lay down, is someone gonna just crawl into my knapsack? Is that what's gonna happen here?
Be cursed.
The Anders thing irritates me for many reasons. Not the least of which being the fact that it's so clumsily handled. I've even seen I think it's the writer specifically, I forget who it was exactly, but I've seen the interview where he defends the idea that Anders should be in charge of the relationship instead of the player. And allow me to violently disagree with that. This boils back to the gameplay side of the equation I talked about earlier. Because choices are still gameplay. I know not a lot of people don't think of it that way, but they are. Having a dialogue option which has doot, 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 that's gameplay. That's allowing the player to decide how they're playing through the story. Sorry. Off topic. We'll get there. We'll get there. In 2 games.
Maybe we should forget the city.
In 3 months.
You made it. Come here. Sit with me.
I hope not, Ross. I have admittedly not... It probably doesn't look like it. I have been taking my time. I have not been rushing with this game. We've been pretty thorough, too. We've done a lot of the content here. So, what do you have in mind besides the bottle, I guess? I don't like any of these options. I really don't. Like, I like Shadowheart. Yeah, let's just drink the booze. Let's drink the booze. Let's just drink the booze.
Someone's enthusiastic. Maybe I should have brought a barrel.
Have you seen my body weight?
Any suggestions?
To sex! Wait. So what do we got here? Victory, survival, to us, or to friendship? I feel like friendship is the obvious answer there. I like victory, admittedly. For the greater good! I like us, but it's too easy to misinterpret that. Because that probably means to us. And what I actually mean is to us, to the party. To the Adventuring Guild. We need to come up with a name for our Adventuring Guild. Let's call us the Silver Dragons. No, that's too cliche. To friendship.
Right. Friendship. Very well, have it your way.
Oh, Jesus.
Friendship.
That reaction. Whoa! Okay. Okay.
Now tell me something about yourself. And no tadpoles, dragons, marauding goblins, or anything like that. Something about you.
That's... Okay. To talk about this for just a second. That is the value of presentation, what just happened there. Her dialogue right there doesn't mean or imply anything until the actress got a hold of it and turned the lines into the implication. There are other things we can do besides talk. We can also just bail. Oh, it was Lee's. I didn't see... Nobody ever told me who it was, Von Falkenstein. I guessed it correctly. I told you it was her. Yeah, no, you first. This is actually a dice roll. It's a difficult dice roll. DC 15 in 5th edition. That's not shabby.
Don't laugh, but I'm not quite sure I have anything to share. When you worship Shard, secrecy is everything. We'll sacrifice our own memories when ordered to. A lot of the little things, they're lost to me right now.
Hang on, hang on. There's this giant neon billboard over your head right now. Do you see that? I'm going to make a prediction. I meant to make this during the first shift, but we were barreling trying to get to this very night, so I kind of skipped over it. Don't respond. Don't give commentary. So I think she was a follower of Saloon. But, well, so there's a unique thing with Shar and Saloon in Forgotten Realms lore. Both of them technically have the exact same right, authority, domain, and claim over everything the other does, because of the nature of their specific pantheon. Pantheon is the wrong domain. It's their specific domains. So, what I mean by that is, if you were a follower of, random example, Baal, and you decided to go ahead and judge over there. No, I tried that once, Colgrim, and then Rax made fun of me for it. And so if you're a follower of Baal and you tried to switch over to Bane, even while that's a minor shift on the evil pantheon of two people who are both part of the Dead Three, the fact of the matter is, that's kind of difficult to do. There's a whole process behind that. There's kind of like a dip, and you have to do this, you have to prove yourself, you have to go through initiation, you might be a spy. It is possible to do, but it is a whole thing. By contrast, switching back and forth between Shar and Saloon is like that. Because you're not legally, I know that's a weird way to put it, phrases, legally you're not actually shifting. Make sense? The reason I bring all this up is one of the things that the Shar people are known for doing is kidnapping followers of Saloon, torturing them until they submit to Shar, and then they switch to Shar. You know, almost one-to-one how many of the Sith over in Star Wars will torture you with the Force until you switch to the dark side. It's pretty simple. Pretty similar. So, Sharans, I think is what they're called, Ikit Claw. Don't quote me on that, though. So what I'm trying to get at here is between her memory loss, her general demeanor, and the fact that, you know, she's totally not a follower of Shar, I think that's exactly what happened to her here. I think that she was a follower of Saloon. Sharez. I think she was a follower of Saloon. I think that she was grabbed and tortured, and I think that she's a follower of Shar. But as we've already talked about, that's not as binding as it sounds. And ideally, it should be relatively easy to convince her to switch over to Saloon. Sorry, my pad, I don't remember what these are called. It's out of position. I don't know what's going on. Move over here. I actually agree with you, Lord Harriman, because they've done some interesting things with her. It's one of the reasons Shadowheart is one of the more interesting characters to me so far. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I should probably move my pillow before I sit down. Anyways, that's my big current prediction. I've actually had it since last night or this morning, something like that. But either way, thank you, Croatia. Always appreciate those subs. And I'm going to leave. For Croatia! Okay, fine. I'll come back. Just because you decided to put it what you were going to put it towards Croatia. So, do you think your memories will ever come back?
Perhaps. But please, enough about me. Sharing's bad for my complexion. There's still plenty of wine, and the whole night is ahead of us.
Yeah, I'm tired too. Whoop, too much wine. Too much wine.
The others will be awake soon.
Hey, Pseudoskymos. Gosh. We didn't have sex. We didn't have sex. Yeah, we had to sleep 1 yard apart. Big blanket in between us. I want to talk about the funneling thing. That's the other thing I want to talk about. How many of you played Cyberpunk 2077 or watched my playthrough of it? First of all, if you didn't watch my playthrough, what's wrong with you? It was actually a really good stream. I highly recommend it. I'm dead serious. It was actually a great stream. The highlight reel is like 3 hours long because it was a great highlight reel. But what I wanted to talk about is how they handled the romance options there. What I loved about how they did most of the romance options, at least the two big ones that I saw, was that they were really precisely written to be either a friendship or a romance. And what I mean by that is it's one of those, it was a Rorschach blot situation, right? I had people look at a scene and say, oh, it's obviously a romance. And I had people look at the exact same scene and say, oh, it's obviously a friendship. And, funny thing, in the middle of the scene, the dialogue option you pick decides which it is, because it was written to be both. Very, very well done. Which I mentioned because that's probably the, I'd say, the pinnacle of me seeing that kind of writing in one of these types of games. Very well done stuff. All of these sound romantic, so we should get back.
I suppose so. Celebration's over. Time to pick up the trail again. Thank you for last night.
No need to thank me.
Well deserved, though.
She trails off. You read an invitation in her eyes.
I had to roll insight for that. So we could kiss her. We could tell her to kiss us. Or we can... Whoa, what's going on with my hand? It's... What are you doing? What are you doing? Holy... Back off there, buddy. Back off. Just... Go over there. Go over there. It's the Dark Urge, I swear. It's not me. It's not me. I swear. All right, so I decided before we even played at this game that I would do a romance option this particular playthrough. And I mentioned that not to give you context. Without knowing the character options for romances, I decided I was going to do a romance. And the reason why is the reason we've done a romance in every CRPG we've ever reviewed. To test them for the purposes of the review. Having said that, while I like Shadowheart as a character, I'd rather... God damn it! I'd rather romance Karlach, given an option on the matter. Like, if you put a gun to my head, I'd rather romance Karlach. But since we're already locked into this, I think we'll go ahead and go with this one, because I have a feeling it'll be interesting for her story arc. So, we'll go ahead and kiss her. I'm curious... Shadowheart approves. I'm curious how this is going to work out. Actually, I was thinking of doing exactly that, Lord Harrimont. I mean, the only other option is Meryl, really. No, Volo hasn't...
Did it?
Why would it hurt? Oh, right, because Shar. The pain was worth it.
Good to know. For the future, let's head back, if we must.
I could see Isabella, especially since I could be wrong about this, Lord Harrimont, but doesn't Isabella's romance help with her character arc, her personal quest?
I trust you enjoyed your evening. After all your efforts, it was well deserved. It may be some time before you're afforded another such night. There is much to be done, and I promised I would help you however I could. I'm certain a cure for you can be found at Moonrise Towers, but it's complicated. The journey specifically, it's extremely perilous, though it seems you're well accustomed to navigating danger.
So what's the danger exactly?
To get to the towers, you'll need to pass through a terrible place. A cursed place. This curse shrouds everything in shadow. You will not find life, light, or anything natural there. Any who linger are twisted by the curse. They become shadow beings, tormented, dangerous souls.
So what do you suggest?
You could go overland, along the Risen Road or through the mountains. Easier at first, but you'll run into the Shadow Curse eventually. You could also go under. There is a tunnel somewhere in the ruined Temple of Selûne. It leads to Moonrise Towers through the Underdark. Long ago, a man called Ketheric Thorm built a secret stronghold deep down there, before rallying a whole army of Dark Justiciars, Shah worshippers. Aradin and his lot were looking for a way down there. They were promised riches if they retrieved a relic called the Night Song. But I think there's more. From this stronghold, Ketheric's forces could access both the Temple of Selûne and Moonrise Towers. But he was defeated before he could launch an attack. If you can find this place, I'll wager it will reveal a more direct path to Moonrise Towers. And maybe even bypass the worst of the Shadow Curse.
Alright, so I don't want to niggle or quibble, but that's 3 separate audio setups, different mics, different recording setups, in one consecutive string of dialogues. That's honestly pretty impressive. I found the entrance in the Temple of Selûne, as it happens. Selûne.
Already? If only I'd gone with you instead of Aradin. I would like to join your camp, if you'll allow me. I can offer my skills, my counsel. I've long sought to return to Moonrise Towers. It seems our fates have aligned.
Well, let's do it.
May Sylvanas guide us.
Do not be so impatient to move on as Halsin. As ever, the Githyanki Kresh remains our priority.
Oh, wow, Zar. Got it. It's good to know. Hey, I have clothing on. Holy crap. It's fine. It's fine. But yes, it's COVID, right? COVID knocked a lot of games on their knees. Have you ever wondered why so many games, good and bad, have been coming out this year? It's because they were supposed to be coming out last year and the year before, and they didn't. So they all got shoved back to this year because COVID. That's production cycles, right? That's how that works. Thank you, Grand 7. Always appreciate you. And if you happen to know where you want to put that towards, as far as future streams, please let me know. The Raven Queen, oh jeez. Let's not go down that rabbit hole just yet. Yeah, this year is stacked, and we're not even done yet. We've still got... Hang on, what else is coming out? I know there's Starfield, which is the big one. It's going to be the blockbuster of the year. We've got Mario Wonder, which is... It's a 2D mainline Mario. It's going to do very well. Phantom Liberty. Super Mario RPG R. What if Starfield did another Fallout 76? Then I will be shocked. No, I mean that with sincerity. There's just... I'm sorry, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Fallout 76, and I know that's because of ignorance, no offense. But Fallout 76 was not made by Bethesda. The last mainline Bethesda game was Fallout 4. Just a while ago, admittedly. Yeah, we've also got SAG-AFTRA, which is its own problem. Hang on. I'm just pulling up something here really quick. How many units do you think they shipped for Fallout 4? Now, before you guess, let me give you a little bit of degree. So, if you ship 6 digits, right, 100,000 range, then you have a successful game. You have a very successful game. I've talked about this before. If you go even further up, if you somehow manage to crawl your way up a full 10, factor of 10, up into the 7-digit range, you have what I would call a blockbuster hit. Any game that sells over 7 digits is selling bonkers well. Whatever the game studios tell you, they're full of crap. So I see someone guessing 2 million, 5 million, 15 million. No, it sold 20 million. Starfield is going to sell well. Mainline Bethesda games are blockbusters. They are bonkers good. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto games and mainline Bethesda games and God of Wars, like there's a few individual specific types of franchises that usually just absolutely destroy sales records, which sucks because it's one of the biggest reasons why gaming companies tend to think a sales figure of 1,000 units sold is low. Which is wrong. I don't have a better way to put that. It is incorrect. As of this point in time, Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold 185 million units. Which makes sense. It's GTA. GTA from 3 onwards has had bonkers sales. Bonkers. Nobody should be looking at GTA and saying, I want those sales figures, because it's not happening. I agree with that, Colgrim. Todd Howard, I know a lot of people like to make fun of Todd Howard. I am not one of those people. Not just because of the fact that I feel he has a legitimate passion for gaming and game design, but also because the fact that, well, he's like what Peter Molyneux would be if he wasn't a complete con man. So let's see here. Sorry, I'm just looking at other game releases for the rest of the year, because I know there's other ones I'm forgetting. There's Baldur's Gate 3, yep, there's Starfield. I'm looking for big ones. Mortal Kombat 1 is going to move some numbers, so that's another big one. There's Phantom Liberty. Assassin's Creed Mirage is coming out. That's probably going to do pretty well. There's a bunch of games I'm interested in, which I'm not even mentioning, like River City Rival Showdown is coming out. Excuse me. Endless Dungeons coming out. There's Super Mario Bros. Wonder. City Skylines 2, I'm pretty excited about that one. There's Spider-Man 2. That one's going to do pretty damn well. Modern Warfare 3R is coming out this year, too, by the way. That's going to be a big one. There's Super Mario RPG Remaster. And then there's a whole list of don't actually have release dates yet. Either way. Point being, regardless of whether or not sales figures are going to back up my words, because Starfield's going to sell stupid well, the fact of the matter is that this is a stacked year for games. I would say the last year that has been this stacked was 2017. And if that doesn't sound familiar, check out the games that came out in 2017.
Soldier?
Yeah, I could stop by saying Breath of the Wild, but quite a few really good games came out in 2017. It was crazy. Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm pretty sure, was 2017 as well.
All's well, I hope.
Of course, unless something's the matter.
No. I just wanted to see how you felt after the night we spent together. When we talked and kissed.
Interesting options here. You first. Lol. That night meant a lot to me. Cool. Perhaps we got carried away. I value your company, but not like that. Or, it was a mistake. We should forget it ever happened. I'm actually going to save, because I want to see one of these. Let's see, what else came out in 2017? Nier Automata, Resident Evil 7, Wolfenstein New Colossus, Sonic Mania, Metroid Samus Returns, Assassin's Creed Origins, Injustice 2, Cuphead, DOS 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Neo, What Remains of Edith Finch, hang on, scrolling down a little bit here, Shadow of War, which I actually rather liked, Hellblade Senua, Total Warhammer 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, I already mentioned that. Stormblood came out that year. Mass Effect Andromeda. Hat in Time. I knew there was one I was missing. Splatoon 2. Looks like that's it on this list, but I'm sure there was other ones. Point being, it was a good year, is what I'm trying to get at. Alright, so, you first.
I can't recall the last time I shared so much with someone. Maybe I never did before. It meant a lot to me. You mean a lot to me. And that was before the kiss.
Aww. Well, now I have no choice but to reciprocate, because now I'd feel awkward if I didn't. Now I'm trapped in a loveless relationship, and I've got to replace her family. I'm sorry, that's a reference. Thank you, Gray. Thank you very, very, very much. Always, always and ever appreciate. I will put that towards Star Trek Resurgence and towards Jedi Survivor. Thank you.
I hope so too. Though I'm not sure what kind of courtship will be afforded, given all that we're facing. But if you want to see where this goes, I do as well.
And that's the other thing. Kira White Noise mentioned this. So I keep giving my theory that she used to be a saloon worshiper and she was flipped to Shar. It's worth noting there's another totally viable possibility here. It's possible she is a Shar worshiper who we can flip to Salune. Because again, that's easy to do because of their unique nature. So we can just convince her to switch sides and it's going to be a smooth and easy transition. Like, she won't even lose any spell levels because of how bonkers easy that is to do. Yeah, also we could do it the other way around, and not to metagame, but this is a video game, and usually in video games you can kind of decide how your characters go. Like, you have a bit of choice as the player for if they go one way or the other. Well, sounds custom built for that, don't it? Anyways.
You already know my biggest secrets. What more can you ask?
What drew you to Shar worship?
She took me in when no one else would. Without her, I wouldn't be alive. She's my mother. She nurtures me, cares for me, loves me. Don't believe the lies the Salunites tell.
Do you know what Shar is all about? No, not really. Why? Yeah, no reason. Cool. Let's go. Anyways. I think we're ready to leave camp. Right after we cast Speak with Animals, which is right there. There we go. It's a mandatory buff. We've started the day. Time to speak with animals. After Dr. Winter. Get our daily morning buffs out. Where's my puppers? Puppers, no! I killed him horribly in the... Oh, I swear to God, they make me kill a puppy. Without my consent. We're gonna have some problems.
Hope you're keeping well, friend.
Just for you, Shadow Machine! Okay, cool. Let's get out of here. Okay. Yep, it's time to move on to the next zone. So we can go through the Underdark. We can go through the road. Any decision? Any thoughts? Should we go through the Underdark? Should we go through the road? Listen, we're doing one or the other. Ugh, I don't want to go through the Underdark. Alright, fine. I'll go back to the Underdark. Can't get away from the Underdark. Just my life. Lore Runner. Professional Underdarker. The guy actually did flat out say that the Underdark would be the easier road, and we would avoid more of the Shadowfell curse. So that's the in-lore explanation for why to take that route instead of just walking up, you know, being like, hey, what's up? I know of 2 entrances to the Underdark. One is from the Hag's house, and the other is under the Selune Temple. Come on, give me a reroll. No reroll. Cool. Okay, whatever. Let's go! Yeah, no kidding, Carolinas. Let's go for the easier path. Where's that? The Underdark. Right. Oh yeah, we do. I actually forgot about that. Well, part of the reason I used to mention him so much is because when I started doing my Star Trek stuff, it was after he'd done his Star Trek stuff. Now, ironically, I have since surpassed him in every way, but at the time there was a lot of people trying to compare me to Sci-Fi Debris in a negative light, like I was just a poser to him. So I got a little bit defensive back in the day about that. I really don't watch him anymore, but that's more a matter of time than anything else. It's not like, he sucks. It's just I don't have time. He also tends to focus on comedy more than anything else. Which is fine, again. We all know I couldn't tell a joke to save my life, so... Right.
Right tool will do the trick.
Oof. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. That is pretty funny, Giga Pudding. I'll give you credit for that. Well, yeah, Sci-Fi Debris is also a script. I'm a streamer. I'm live. I don't have a script. I've noticed some people, and this is in no way an insult, I've noticed that some people don't know how to be live and are just substantially better at being scripted. Let me use a direct example. That's a lot of petrified people. Pro Jared, who's someone I do actually enjoy his content and works way better when he has a script. I've seen him live. He sucks. Just to put it as bluntly as I can. The man does not know how to do off-the-cuff commentary or anything. He just doesn't. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have the talent for it. And that's not an insult. Some people are just better at one or the other, and some people can do both. I will admit I tend to work better when I am live rather than when I am scripted. But as I've proven, I can do scripted, and I can point to that because not only is there the theaters and the rewrites, but also the World of Lorecraft series, which is entirely scripted. But even then, I'm not trying to brag. Actually, quite the opposite. What I'm trying to say is I prefer being live. There's no vine over there. Well, I feel like I just answered that, Colgrim, but to be very clear, I tend to prefer going in blind. Although, that's a lie. Excuse me. Or rather, that's an inaccuracy. What I prefer, most of all, is both. I like to have... It's how I GM when I'm running a campaign. I've always said the best GMs are ones who can do both. You want to know the script. You want to know the module. You want to know what's coming and how events should go. But you also need to be able to roll with it. And so that's my favorite approach if I have the option, if I know what I'm doing. For example, with this game, pure live, because I don't know anything walking into this. But if I'm playing a game that I've already played before, and you probably saw this as we're going through, for example, the Shantae series, you probably saw me like playing up a certain moment or responding to a certain moment because I knew it was coming. And because I knew it was coming, I could come up with something in advance, and you get the idea. I've done this with several games that I've repeated, that same games that I know where things are going in general. Says Cole. I mean, sometimes you just need to make that rat a thing. So we do have one flask of Get Rid of Petrify, and I believe Lesser Restoration gets rid of Petrify. If not, well, we're dead. Haven't I already killed one of you? Recently? God, it's Malboro. It's actually an interesting question, Blake Ball. The plot? I would say so far the plot is non-existent. Like, there's not much to it, really. Not an insult, just a statement of fact. There's an illithid in our brain, okay? Yeah, exactly. The plot at the moment is survive. Yeah, we know there's some nethery... Oh, shoot. I thought I had another move. Okay, that sucks. Let's not blow everything for this. Let's roll a 1 instead. That's what I really want to do with my life.
Another fight. Let's go.
Over here! You're a vile lister. I shall trick thee.
Well, not really so far, no, Blade of All. It's a story that probably centers around illithids, which means we're probably going to have to deal with an Elder Brain at some point, and that sucks. I'm not a fan of illithids.
Got this.
You know, it's like having a good story about the multiverse. No matter how good it is, I'm never going to like it because it's about the multiverse.
Eat it.
You know? You know what? If I was going to get a crit on anyone, I'm glad it was her. It is not published anywhere, no, but I could actually look it up at some point. That was actually Carlock, but yeah.
Was your father a flounder?
You seriously want to keep fighting me? Did you see what I... Okay. Yeah, exactly, Lightfall. I'm into a lot of elements of the story. The plot hasn't caught me yet.
And worse. What were they doing here?
Let's go ahead and pop a heal. Jesus Christ.
Something good here. I hope.
Interesting. Well, it's looted at the very least. It is funny you asked that, though, because I'm currently running someone through the essentials of TNG.
Moving in.
So I'm kind of building a VHS list as I go. But I haven't been writing it down, I've just been doing it live. A memory shard. Okay. Oh, absolutely, Ross. I'm pretty familiar with TNG. Like, in Season 1, okay. We've been going through 3 types of episodes. Really good, really bad, like the worst, and also significant episodes. Episodes that matter for some reason or another. Yeah, we cut out the meh, exactly. Although some of the significant episodes are meh. Like, Encounter at Farpoint is a significant episode, but I would never recommend it otherwise, to be very blunt, because it's just kind of there. Oh, hey! A vent! We know what we do with vents.
No hesitation.
Did it not block it? What? What?
Keep a blade close.
Alright, Asterion, I got a job for you.
A trap. Someone doesn't like visitors.
That is a DC 30. Ugh. Yeah, okay, let's just walk away from that. Yeah, we're just gonna walk away from that. Okay, so we're gonna ignore that road. There's a vent under that backpack, dude. You see that? Actually,
Action, not reaction.
come here, wants to have sex with me. That's your new name. You know, I don't know in lore, Wolfter, but in gameplay it's really simple. A spectator is a baby beholder. Lower level beholder.
Move with purpose. Without delay.
I'm trying to remember.
Still breathing.
Beholders are aberrations, which I don't mean as like, oh, they're ugly. No, it's actually a classification of entity. They're not, they don't birth in the traditional sense. They are built. You know what? Why don't I just pull this up really quick? Let's just clarify, rather than go off of vague memories. Let's look it up. Yeah, there's also tyrants, which are a whole other thing. There's also... Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay, so here's the full list of the subtypes of beholders. There's Bloodkiss, there's Death Tyrant, which is what I was actually just thinking of. There's the Doom Sphere, the Elder Orb, the Eye of Flame, the Eye of Frost, the Eye of Shadow, the Hive Mother, the Death Kiss, the Director, the Eye of the Deep, the Goth, the Gazer, the Gouger, the Observer, the Overseer, and the Spectator. Now... So one thing I do remember distinctly, even before I read this, each beholder in lore is unique. There's no such thing as a standardized beholder. The reason most beholders tend to be the same is because this is still a game, right? But lore-wise, none of them are copy-paste or pattern related. They're all unique in some way or another. Unfortunately, this is not giving me the information that I was actually looking for. Oh yeah, they all hate each other. They're not fond of each other. Are you thinking about Xanathar, Loner? I don't know if an illithid can affect a beholder. I'm not sure about that. Xanathar is probably the most well-known beholder, for good reasons. I don't remember, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Colgrim. Rather than leave you empty-handed, though, why don't I tell you a random anecdote about why beholders suck? Picture the scene. You're young, say, going through college. You know, so you're, that's our first crash. Wow. In mid-jump, too. So anyways, let's say you're going through college, and as you're going through college, you've got this new game you're trying out that your friends pushed on you. It's called Baldur's Gate 2. And you're having fun with it, and you're going through Athlaka, which is honestly a pretty fascinating town. Politics, and money, and corruption, and fascinating culture. And you're like, okay, so you go through the central square, the big promenade. Talk to a few people, get a few... You only do one quest, which is an illusory circus thing. And then the next thing you do is you go into the city area. And you're like, oh, hey, there's a sewer area. I should go into the sewer area. And then you find a beholder nest. You're level 2. Absolutely, it's no. What ended up happening is ignorant younger me. God, how old would I have been? I would have been 19 or 20, one of the two. Ignorant younger me was like, "Oh, okay," and didn't really know what a beholder was to any substance. So I just rolled with it. I just assumed logically that it was the next dungeon. It was the next overall area. So I tried to push through that. Oh God, we're all the way back here. I just tried to push through the damn thing. That,
Over, then through.
That didn't work out very well. I got really frustrated and put the game down for a while. It was the first of many obstacles I had to enjoying Baldur's Gate 2. Because Baldur's Gate 2... honestly, I don't think is a particularly good game. The story, even to this day, I will admit the story is legit, but the gameplay side of BG2, not a big fan. I wasn't a fan then, not a fan now. Intellect Devourers are, amusingly, a completely different thing. You know, I'm not sure I did, Blake Trefall. I'm honestly not sure I did. Yeah, exactly. It's the Final Fantasy II problem. Alright, I'm fresh out of the starter zone. Okay, I'm gonna go west for a little bit. Oh, hey! One of the high-end zones towards the very end of the game. Oh, I'm dead. Also, New Vegas pulls the same trick while we're on the subject. Not as bad. I've seen a lot of games that don't really properly label a high-end zone, and it's irritated me in pretty much every single case, because it's really easy to just stumble into it. And that's not fun, you know? So I'm debating how I want to do this. Why don't we do this?
Come on, let's go.
Ignorance breeds madness.
Let's march. Let's ride.
Honestly, agreed, Loner. The fact that, well, I don't want to spoil too much, but the fact that the events of Stonehold happened the way they did in Baldur's Gate 2 just made me think, how? Okay. how did this happen exactly? Why is it making me walk down there further away to shoot? Oh, I see it now. I did the same damn thing, Maverick, but there was a slight difference in my case, because I did that before the Western Plague Lands existed. And for those of you who haven't heard that story, back in the day, before several zones were added to the beta in WoW, there were these big, like, signposts of, don't go here. Literally, it was just construction material kind of stuff. It's like, oh, I'm going to go in here. So I was a little bit more prepped when it finally actually came out as a zone. But I've known people who've just wandered idly into the Western Plagues, been in combat, been confused, and then, you know, died when a bear comes out of absolutely nowhere and just turbo kills them. Listen, Casual, all I'm saying is that Baldur's Gate 2 is the worst game in the known hit... sorry, I had some internet stuck in my throat there. If it makes you feel any better, Casual, I have heard a lot of people say that FF6 is not a good game. In fact, I've heard it called overhyped, what you befigged, I can't think of the word right now. Over somethinged, and of course, not a particularly good game. In fact, I've heard some people say that FF6 is actually a crap game that they put down because they had trouble playing it because of how much they didn't like it. That's life, right? And as long as the person's not being a dick about it, that's just something I've kind of gotten used to. Having said that, what do you like about the gameplay of Baldur's Gate 2? Let's have a discussion about that. And I know that sounds really accusatory. Because it is! What I mean by that is, it's not accusatory at all. I'm just honestly curious. Because a lot of people I know who like Baldur's Gate 2 like it for the story. Kind of like me. Like for years, I talked up Baldur's Gate 2, and it was because of the story. And David Warner. I know David Warner's part of the story. I don't care. He gets his own separate credit. Nobody would give a crap about Irenicus if not for David Warner. I'm just saying. He was awesome, damn it. I don't want to burn superiority die in this fight. So I got rid of the blind. But what we did not do is use our brain. You know what? Sure. Because I want to lock this in as quickly as possible. Yeah, when did Baldur's Gate 2 come out? Because I'm pretty sure that game is 20 plus years old at this point. Would you believe I have a prepped answer for that, Ross? And that answer is the first episode of Season 3, which I can't think of the name of right now. There's this word. It means when you're forgetting the name of things. I can't think of what it's called. Oh, that's right. Dementia. No, I don't actually have dementia, but it's been a running gag of me and my friend. Evolution. Yes, Evolution. Season 3, Episode 1. I do very unironically think that Evolution is the perfect thing to start with Star Trek in general, and I stand by that. Really think about the episode for a second. It looks like a threat of the week, but it isn't. It's actually a dilemma episode. There's no true villain. Even the guy who's the jackass isn't actually a jackass, and is pretty well fleshed out throughout the course of the episode. It has a good guest star, the aforementioned jackass. It does a good showcasing of the people and their different perspectives and personalities. And it's when the show actually got good. New lighting director, new casting director, new set. I mentioned I was going through Trek. I actually pulled up shots of Season 1 and Season 3 side by side. And the differences in how much they did to make the set, just the bridge by itself, look so much better, is night and day. And I don't think I ever properly noticed that until I put them side by side like that. So, That's my recommendation. All these reasons. But wait! There's more. We've got to miss all these strikes because we suck.
Can't stay idle.
I just did this fight. Example how they changed the bridge. The chairs are the most obvious example. They're completely different chairs. But the example I like the most is, if you're picturing the Enterprise D bridge, there's the wooden oak thing in the back, and then it comes kind of down forward into this plastic thing, going right behind the captain's chair, right? In Season 1, it's just this basic-looking, plaster-looking thing that looks cheap. As of Season 3, it actually looks like it's part of the set, part of something you could believe being a real part of the set, and it's got little designs built into it that you've probably never noticed, and that's probably okay, because good visual design, right? God, we are injured. Why are we so injured? Oh my god. Like, pull up a shot of the Enterprise D bridge, you'll see what I'm talking about. I didn't notice either, by the way, until I did the side-by-side. That's pretty recent in my life. Oh yeah, we're still in combat.
Time to move.
Time to strike.
So, hey, you want to, like, not die? Oh yeah, then there's the uniforms. You may or may not have noticed, the uniforms changed twice across Season 1 up to Season 3. As of Season 3, what we think of as the TNG uniforms were finally decided upon. And it's a lot of micro improvements, but again, if you pull up a Season 1 episode and a Season 3 episode and put them side by side, you'll see what I mean by how different the uniforms are, especially when the camera gets really up close, you know? Different material, more comfortable, smelled better, looks better, fits better. Just big improvements across the board. Big improvements across the board. Same loot, interestingly enough.
No traps, please.
Alright, so now to see Cashel's terrifying answers. Here we go, I'm ready. Put all this where it needs to go really quick. I just did all this already. I'm gonna have to just save every combat now, aren't I? That's just my life. Oh my god, I meant to give all these scrolls to Gale and I forgot. Oh, whatever. It is in here. Stop being in here. You know what? Your scrolls. Oh, wait, won't let me. What's in here? Grenades. What's in here? Another backpack. In fact, several things were in there. What? We have another backpack, and another keychain, and another alchemy. What? Okay. Hang on. We have an alchemy pouch and alchemy. Why do we have 3 alchemy pouches? Here, you take an alchemy pouch. And just put this in. Just here, take this. I don't care. Just take it. Just take it. Here, take this. Take this. Take that. Here, have fun. Okay, that's my grenades. Okay, that's cool. That's what it should be. You're sick in the head. I knew it, Cashel! You're like me! And that I actually unironically enjoy... Oh god, what's something bad that I enjoy? Castlevania 2? Final Fantasy Mystic Quest? I've got it! Sonic Forces. God, that game was crap. Hang on, let me work these scrolls for a second. Slow my... I guess I could do this. I keep forgetting that I can even do this. There we go. Get in there, get in there. This goes to you. I have a lot of potions. A lot of potions. For just... I need a potions bag. In fact, you know what? Let's make a potions bag, shall we? No, not a poisons bag. A potions bag. Why, Evan Falkenstein? Oh, so you're... Anyways, okay, so you think Morrowind has the best UI of the TES games? I agree with you. No, really. Because Skyrim's UI sucks. That it's the worst of the big three, by far. And has all of the problems that we've talked about many, many times before, and we'll just bombard with negatives when we get there. Then we have Oblivions. Now, I am used to Oblivions, but that does not make it good. I know how to navigate Oblivions because I've played Oblivion over and over and over, because I love Oblivion. But that does not make Oblivion's UI good. Quite the contrary. It is pretty, and I love the map. I do think Oblivion has the best map of any of the Elder Scrolls games, bar none. But the overall interface is awkward and just embarrassing to navigate, to be very blunt about that. So, I actually agree with you on that. However, you like the combat, the quest, and dungeon variety, and how shandified the setting is. I don't know what that means. You love how it's packed together with variety and broken builds and items and artifacts. Okay, that actually makes perfect sense. Something I've encountered a lot in my career is games that I would give negatives for, unabashedly and without hesitation, that when you know what you're doing and you know how you're doing it, tend to get a whole lot more awesome because of the fact that you know what you're doing. Imagine Baldur's Gate 2 from the perspective of a brand new player who's never played Baldur's Gate 2 before, and you could probably picture the person going, ah! But picture Baldur's Gate 2 from the perspective of someone who knows what they're doing, who knows the setting, who knows the builds, who knows the combos, right? We've encountered several games like that. In fact, I can think of one right off the top of my head, because we've already covered it, kind of. In fact, it was kind of an establisher for this kind of review system when we were still setting up the review system, and that is Final Fantasy VIII. In Final Fantasy VIII, if you know what you're doing, that game's actually pretty awesome to play, because there's multiple paths and builds you can do in order to progress and build yourself up, and that's kind of cool. You know what you're doing, right? So, honestly, I'm with you, Casual. I mean, I'm sure if I used, not that it existed at the time, if I had a game fac and a build guide for what to do in Baldur's Gate 2, I'd probably enjoy it more. Just because I would be able to, do it. Now, I'm not going to say that I'd magically enjoy the interface, because I kind of hate the interface of Baldur's Gate 2, but, I could at least enjoy several aspects of the gameplay. That's it. I still don't know what this is. It's very, very light, though, so we'll hold on to it for now. I need a poisons bag. I need another bag. Do you have a bag? You do not have a bag. You have this, which should actually go to camp. Do you have a bag?
Well.
Do you have a bag?
Enough waiting. I crave blood.
You do not have a bag. Note to self, buy bag.
Time to rest.
Next time we see one, I want to buy a bag. Start holding our poisons in there. Start getting organized about this. Can I label these? What? Okay. What does custom do? Because it doesn't seem to be doing anything. Ah, well, I'm still not gonna, label the damn things, but that's whatever. Minor thing, moving on.
Swift as my feet can carry me.
I would say, and I've talked about this before, most CRPGs have that barrier to entry problem about them. I know some people don't think that's a problem. I don't agree with that. I mean, even the ones we would consider the landmark and really good CRPGs tend to have that, problem about them. That's an interesting question, Lord Harriman, but it presumes our camp is one static spot in lore. Now, if we did that, that would work. I think, didn't we talk about that during our Dragon Age Origins run, the last time we did it? Because the idea of having people who stay back at camp and having content for the people who stay back at camp is actually pretty appealing. At that point, it's no longer a limited party size, it's deciding who engages in which content. Which sounds pretty cool. Whoa, no. Come down here. Come down here.
Intestines throb. Blood whispers.
Interesting autosave timing there. That does mean more development time, but honestly... Cool. That's exactly what I wanted in my life.
Repositioning.
Okay, why don't you stay back? This is just the Underdark in a nutshell. We are, what, 20 feet in? 30? Okay, we're a decent ways in. But we're 2 encounters in, and the Underdark has just been like, no, go home, son. Go home. You don't belong here.
Outmaneuver them.
Asterion, I'm really going to need you to stop rolling ones.
On the hunt.
God damn it.
Keep them guessing.
I've forgotten how many we're up to. I think we're up to 8 ones today so far. Just leave myself down. Screw it.
Come on, Karlach. Show him who you are.
Do I need to let you drink my blood so you can stop sucking? You know, she's like, I got this, boss!
Victory awaits.
My 2 action ladies here are just like, no, we'll show you how it's done. They're tired of the fact that he just showed everybody up yesterday. Damn. Double damn. Thought I could make it, but I cannot. Whatever. Switch over. Shoot. Oh, I guess we've got an extra attack. Alright, whatever. Another attack. Okay. Back to melee. Okay. Yes. This is it. This is your big rebound. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it! Holy crap. He killed it.
What a charmer.
If you could get me up, Karlach, I'd appreciate it. Alright, we're only at 1 HP.
Can't give up now.
2 encounters in. 2 encounters in.
What's inside?
Great. So glad I came down to the Underdark. That's a lot of spiders over there. Which is why we're going to walk right into the spider nest. Oh, there's a spider wall in the way. Sorry.
Light on my feet.
Listen. You can only go to 1, Ikiclaw. Only 1. Mandatory.
Can't keep me out.
I don't really have healing. That's why I'm not really healing. I was actually just sitting there thinking about that. Like, I don't really have a source of healing.
Guess lost cultists haven't been back here in a while.
Like, my source of healing is going back to camp, which... I guess we'll go do that. But first, let's read this. Loth be praised! Yeah. We'll actually go all of that. That is worth a pretty penny. We're gonna definitely sell that at some point. I mean, Healing Word isn't gonna do jack, even at the level I'm at. I've got 4 of these, so that is, if I roll absolutely max, about half of my health restored. Yeah, no, we're gonna do a short rest.
Feeling fresh.
Although, this is a problem I've had with D&D in general for years. Healing is weirdly limited in D&D, and it's never been something I've been a fan of. I get that it's on purpose, I just kind of don't care. This is not someplace I want to go. Look at this! Okay. Let's do it. This is safe.
Someone or something has been digging here.
Cool. This is, fun. Oh yeah, I should write this down, though. Nap. Don't do whatever you're doing.
A perfect ring of mushroom. Pretty. But it doesn't do much.
It's well atmospheric, but it's not actually creeping me out, no. I was just jotting down a positive.
The earth's been charred. Ominous.
Yeah, and there's a turret up there. Just chilling. Hanging out. I have, in fact, Cauldron. Let's,
Keep your distance, darling.
Oh, wow. That thing's got some vision. Okay, never mind. I'm trying.
All's well that ends. Well, not as bad as it could have.
And that thing's got sturdy, too. Ugh.
Wish to live in more interesting times.
Okay. New plan.
Toes.
Action, not reaction.
Yeah, sturdy is you have to do more than 10 damage or else it doesn't do anything.
Objective noted.
I've got a long road ahead.
Yeah, its weakness is getting up into melee range and then hitting it for more than 10 damage.
Don't burn yourself.
Speaking of which, Karlak, if you could, you know.
Soldier?
I mean, Ferelden is like Britain, right? It's all one boring, drab place. Am I right? Sure, we'll examine it. Resistances. It's got resistance to slashing, piercing, and fire. It is apparently weak to lightning. It is immune to necro, psychic, and poison. I'm sure glad I got all this lightning damage on me. Okay, Stay out of line of sight. And you do the same.
On my way.
Let's see what happens. Okay, so we can line of sight it. That's exactly what I was wondering. Cool.
Oh, I could go for a good meal.
Let's see if we can do anything to this thing. We might not be able to.
Shouldn't have tried me.
No, we're good. What? But, what? Arcane turret fell to a lethal blow. Oh! Okay. Yep, okay, cool. Run. Run. Oh, I can't play Elder Scrolls games in third person here. Same with, like, Fallout and the like.
Indolence breeds madness.
Damn, it's good to be alive. Let's go.
So there's another turret, too. You. Okay. Cool, cool. Depressing. Cool. Oh, ESO I play full third person. You know, like it was an MMO.
Eat it.
Okay. Cool.
Careful, I bite. This way. Simple. What now? Let's go.
Still breathing, despite everything.
The edge. Sorry.
Should mind my step.
That's curious.
What? What? Aha! Something to dig in. No, not the bucket. God damn it. Dear Uray, I don't know if you're coming back or if you'll even read this message, but if you do come back, could you wait for me? I'll only be gone a few 10 days, but the thought of coming back to this empty tower with nothing but burner to fill these holes. I don't know how longer I can take this. I miss you. I miss you so much. I can't shake the thought of how different things might have been if only I'd been less stubborn. Working on your lightning inventions, my magic, eating together, laughing at your stupid puns, waking up next to you. Despite everything, I still love you. So please, if you read this, can you wait? I'll be back. I won't be gone long. Forever yours, Lenore. A few sentences below, in a different hand. I waited. I waited until Tarshak. I'll always wait for you, but you didn't come. Okay. That was penned 1481. Which, yeah, it's pretty recent.
Something good here, I hope. I'll give it a shot.
Gaseous form, which is actually a very useful thing. How is this so heavy? These are books and scrolls. Most of which don't even weigh a single pound. I guess it is a chest. Just means I'm gonna have to find another bag. Ugh. Weight! Why is weight a thing? Moving on. Out of a burden for now. We'll just live with it for now. Let's go. Why don't I have the light spell on?
No way to ignite these. Strange.
Jesus, this door requires 22 damage strikes to get through it. It is, however, weak to slashing.
Soldier. Want another?
Thank you.
Still alive.
Sight.
That's progress.
Get a line of sight. Get a line of sight.
What's the story? Moving it. The hammer's gonna fall.
Nice place. Let's even got an elevator.
All right. What now? Never wanted the easy path. Cursed to put my hands on everything.
The beginning of this book proudly declares it to be a play by Dame Inia, followed by an extensive introduction and 23 pages of notes on the text. Although the book itself seems barely touched, one stanza is encircled twice. There's a light in every living thing. It's crawling towards the surface to survive, and in its wake it tramples everything. We'll kill the rest so one can survive.
Was quite the literary type.
You for a second.
What's hiding here?
Cute. Yeah, let's just jump. Ah! It'd be funny to let me.
This energy has me all a tingle.
You can tell because it's got filled with spatulas, bowls, and blades.
Might be useful.
One thing to do. Yeah. It's not letting me jump. But that's okay. I have an idea. What are you talking about? There's nothing fancy or special about them, Voice of Authority. Look, here, check it out. It's just a spatula from a careless cook. A spatula from a careless cook. A metal fork. Yeah, no. Modest bowl. No. Nothing fancy about it at all. Moving on. It's fine. I guess I could use the money. Fine. I'll rob the silverware. Petty thief now. Hey, Featherfall. The second one. Let's see. Nope, sorry. No $30 plate. Just Featherfall. Which we can actually equip. Holy crap. You and nearby allies. That's interesting. A light bomb. Gotta love a good light bomb. And straight up gold. I believe I put them here. I'm wrong.
Hey, good looking.
There it is.
Let's move.
Did she just call me good looking?
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
I like how I'm probably the only person on the planet who wouldn't have picked up on the magical chest thing, because I'm not a looter. So I would have just been like, oh, it's just some bowls and plates, and I would have moved on, even if they were worth something. Jump! Jump! Jump, you fool! Just jump! It's not letting me. Wait. Maybe? Nope, it does not want me to jump. Look at that. Just go over the ledge. Come on! I'm running out of turns on my Featherfall. It is not letting me jump. Cool. Well, that was a waste of everything.
Looks like some kind of magical contraption. Now, to get it to work.
It's a button. Use the... Well, I was going to take the elevator, but then the game was like, nope. And I don't even feel like it right now, so let's go. We don't even need Featherfall for this. We can just make these jumps. Oh, never mind. There's some damage. A little bit of damage. Anything in here other than arcane death? Hello? Any arcane death in here? Stuff to loot, stuff to loot. So, nothing. Okay, cool. Let's go and jump a little bit further down then. Death! Perfect. Alright, let's go and pop this. Oh, it's on the roof! Oh, okay, that explains everything.
That's curious.
I'm way too big.
I could fit down there. Not only did it bug out, but I realized there was the possibility of losing saves or crashing the game or other instabilities that might happen, and fine. So we're living without the mod. I am, to be clear, not overly happy about that, but I don't really see another alternative, so here we are. Hey, Karlak, could you open this door, please? Thank you.
At least things have stayed interesting.
What do we got in here? Lulth's Candle. Mm-hmm. Ooh. There's the hole. And that goes up. Okay, cool. Nice tower. Fun place. Yeah, exactly, Colgrim. And, I mean, yeah, eventually it'll standardize. In fact, eventually we'll probably have mod support built in, because they've talked about that. But at the moment, no. I mean, you just gave me a hint, Voice of Authority, so I suppose I have to, by definition, be okay with hints. Anti-magic fields, huh? I wonder if Phasarist is in this game. It's gonna be fun. Let's poke around a little bit. We'll go back to the tower. Looks like we have to go back to the tower anyways.
Always room for more.
Because this appears to be a dead end.
It feels like my magic is getting drained.
I don't like my magic being drained, so let's not do that. That sounds like a very... Oh, it goes away if exposed to sunlight. That sounds extraordinarily useful. In fact, let's go pick up the other one while we're here. Is that, you know what that sounds like to me? Grenades. I am the most powerful mage. Oh, whoop. You know, what's doubly funny is I don't really have magic in this part. Not really. Like, I got a little bit. So this is not as damaging as it could be. So we're just going to hold on to that for a second. I mean... Oh, that's actually a tough one, Lord Harriman. I would say it's still probably worse going through the Underdark. Ignoring the obvious, the Underdark is designed for high-level adventurers thing. There's also the fact that there's a decent number of... I don't want to say pleasant, but at least people who don't want to kill you in the Deep Roads. Like, you run into the Dead Legion in the Deep Roads, and that's actually cool. Okay, so we need something to power up the power generator. Never actually finished the book. Deep gnomes can be cool. Dwagger, Illithids, Beholders, Drow, Purple worms. Rogue demons. There's a lot of things in the Underdark that really don't give a damn.
What's in here?
What am I listening to? I'll be right back. That turned something weird. Someone was cleaning upstairs, so I was actually hearing something weird. Go figure. Oh, I got tons of room. I know the camera looks like I'm in this tiny area. I'm not. Like, look at how much space I got before I even get back to the end of my where I can sit, right? And even here, I've still got more room to work with. I'm in a nice big open area. Pick it up. Pick it up. See? Tons of space. Tons of space. I got tons of space. It is a weird angle. The computer kind of has to be here because there's only so much I can do with this situation. Like, there's only so many places I can physically put the setup because I got the computer right there and obviously desk right here, wall right here, right? Yeah, I don't have to... Exactly. I can't believe anybody remembers that, Yura. I don't have to do this every time I'm going in and out of the area. In fact, it's funny you bring that up. Just now, when I got up to go check about what was going on, it struck me how quickly and easy it is to get up and down. I got into the habit, back in the apartment complex, of refusing to get up for any reason, unless I had, like, a really good reason to. Because it was such a pain squeezing in and out of that space every time I did so. So I need to get out of that habit. Remember that I can just zip back and forth relatively easily now. Nothing to loot. It's just withered blue petals. Alright, let's just try the obvious thing and see if it works, even though it arguably shouldn't. Alright, I've claimed a mage tower. And then in the distance, something's like, ah, fresh meat, and starts charging at me. And now I have an army to fight off. I mean, that's fair, Czar. It's just, the whole reason I didn't do that was because it made no sense to me. Putting in an anti-magic field flower into a reactor in order to make a magical arcane tower work does not make sense to me. I'm not going to lie about that, but I'm not going to argue it, so we're just going to move on. Oh, jeez.
You sound so damping like a pressure break. Is it the foe? That foul, contemptuous heel?
Long hours spent studying at your college come back to you. This is the opening stanza of an old play, The Roads to Darkness.
Attack while it waits for an answer. I am a friend. I have come in peace.
An unbeknownst command by fools that would intrude. Now steel shall ring, false tongue will speak no more.
But... okay. Yeah, resistance to everything. They've also got a static discharge and an AC of 19. Okay. Let's try to deal with some of the lessers first, shall we? Yeah, welcome to the Underdark. You've leveled, right? No? Well, sucks to be you. Alright, so. I mean, it's too late now, Bragwin. We're committed. Let's get some experience.
Let's go.
Because they should have paid the fine. Yep. Well, he's in the anti-magic field, but I don't think that does anything to him. Yep, nope, doesn't do anything to him. Okay, well, hi. Nice to meet you. My name's your tank. I'll be your tank for the day. I'd bleed you, but, you know, you're a construct, so... just gonna do what we can here. Pop action surge. And we're just gonna chip damage you down here. Inch by bloody inch.
My turn.
Okay, so you are actually going to do the exact same thing. In fact, we're going to rage. I've been saving it. Time to use that. Yep. Just keep swinging. Cool.
I can't even catch my breath.
Give Bardic Inspiration to her. And then let's do a... where is there? Disengage. And then let's try not to die. I know it's hard, but you know.
Festering beauty.
Yes, that's not as bad as it could be, which is good. I should turn Asterion into another fighter. Dirt! Alright, okay, that's cool that that's a thing that happened. Or we can just crit. Maybe I should turn him into a frickin' fighter. Good loud. I mean, fighter's a baller. No, no, no. We turn Asterion into a paladin. No? Okay.
Now this is my happy place. Under their noses.
Arcane Fighter would actually be a pretty good combo, Lord Aramont. I do like the idea of turning him into a paladin, though, just for amusement's sake. It'll be easy. We turn the difficulty up, make him a paladin fighter, and then turn the difficulty down, because that's just, it's still just such a weird thing. In all honesty, a paladin with action surge, yeah, that sounds like fun. Although, what level would that require? I'm not sure in this particular setup. Fighter 2. So we could be Fighter 2, Paladin 3 right now if we wanted to. And we're down. Second time we've gone down since entering the Underdark. Promising.
Want another?
Cool.
I will not know fear.
Could you,
I'd love to, thanks.
That's a really good question, actually, Lord Aramont. Alright, we fought off the goblins. Now time to fight arcane constructs in the Underdark.
Anything of use?
Well, that gives someone light, which would be neat if we didn't already have that cantrip.
Time to rest.
Now, that is a nice spear. 1d10, it's a 1d10, and it's a +1 enchanter. It also has 1d6 lightning damage on top of it, and chance to stun the wielder unless it's a construct. We're not going to use that, but still. Yeah, I'm sorry. So I'm an idiot. I misread that when at first glance. I thought it was chance to stun the target, not the wielder. That's a little different. So we're gonna just turn that into vendor food. Keep that for right now. These empty sheets are all that's left of you, the last of the thoughtless gifts you gave. I will hold on to them. It's all I can do. I can't throw them away. I've never been that brave. Sorry, Bernard. You're turbo dead. As it should be. Hey, you notice I didn't mark it as wares, Dr. Winter, so we'll see what we do with that. Okay, well, I guess that was the Arcane Tower. Lovely place. Lovely place.
Breathe deep and move.
Yep, nope, that does in fact appear to be it. Alright, cool. Back down.
Let's see what this does.
In that case, if there's one more level, then it's got to be down. No, this is where we were. You're lying to me, voice of authority. It's just this floor. This is the entrance where we came in. Okay, okay. Back up, back up. Let me put on the extremely obviously dangerous ring.
My ring lit up. Must have been linked to that button.
Wait, which button? I can't tell with the blue glow. I mean, the in-lore explanation is Lolth pancakes. But the gameplay explanation is Dark Elves! I mean, it's not called Light Elves for a reason. Come on. Yeah. Bernard was like, no! With this last act, I will prevent you from seeing the button. Where are we? Where are we? Lolth is evil. Like, really, really, really evil. She's probably the most evil deity in the entire setting. She also gets way too much screen time, in my opinion. That's unrelated. Okay. Cool. So what's down here, then? Okay, this is getting silly. Go to camp. So I can see what the hell I'm doing, please. That's a good way to put that, Pillagers Note. Lolth is a product of 90s Edge. Ooh, a scroll of fly. Wearer cannot be electrocuted and gives resistance to lightning damage. I mean, I'm gonna put that on right now. Holy crap. Now we have the ability to fly. Well, kind of. The oil. Unfortunately, yes, Pillagers know. They have toned it down since then, but, like, it's not hard to do, you know? Come on, camera. There you go. Yeah, remember when Lolth's reward to one of her chosen was to brutally murder them? Or no, it wasn't a chosen. Basically, look up how Lolth returned, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Because they got rid of Lolth at one point, and I was actually really happy about that. I thought it was a good status quo changing thing that could move the setting forward, and maybe they could actually do something with the Drow and the Underdark. Then Lolth came back. Status quo. That's another thing that I'm not actually against, even though I speak against it all the time. There's nothing wrong with the status quo as long as it's not always the status quo. That tends to be my irritation there. Okay. Well, that was cool, if ultimately pointless. Let's see what else is down here, shall we? Interesting music for this place, too. I do like the song. It's probably the first song that's really stuck out for me. And second, after the character creation song. Agreed, Lord Harrimont. Like, Jinx, Lord Harrimont. I agree. DOS 2's main theme was legit. Although DOS 2 had pretty good music in general, by memory. I tend to follow the rule of, I think it's 4, technically. Let me just explain it. You establish, you develop,
Looks abandoned.
you change, you establish. That's how I tend to approach my own writing, my own developing. Because you have to have a status quo. You have to start somewhere. And if you go too quickly into changing things, the player, the viewer, the reader, the author has no reference point. So they don't know, oh my god, because it doesn't mean anything. So you have to establish, then you have to develop, then you change. I've been thinking about that, Colgrim. I think this game will probably beat DOS 2 in score, but I think I prefer DOS 2. It just does several things better than this game does. And, well, a lot of those things are things that I prefer. Like, for example, the core combat of DOS 2 just stomps this, in my opinion. I know what you're thinking. What's the difference? Yeah, less pebbles, exactly. DOS 2 has an action economy. Yeah, exactly what I'm so in, rather than have your movement and then your action, your bonus action, all that, you have AP. Everything you do costs AP. Moving a certain amount costs AP. Casting costs AP. Attacking costs AP. That's how the combat is balanced. So everything you do is always pulling from that same pool. That makes AP valuable, but also gives you a tremendous amount of malleability on what you do, when, and where. It also means they could balance the encounters around that AP system, which they do. So that's point number 1. Point number 2, there were more encounters, and that sucks. I do think one of the things I like about BG3 is the reduction of the the quantity, sorry, not the density, but the quantity of encounters. However, there's also the fact that the encounters were just better designed in DOS 2. Not just from this fact of, like, here's an enemy that has this, but DOS 2 has a section where there's 3 enemies up on over areas and, like, a barrel down below. So they're inclined to shoot that barrel and spill the oil all over the place and then blow it up and then cause fire damage. And, of course, there's cursed blood nearby, which is likely to get it cursed. So you've got that thing going for you, but then if you think about it, this gives the exact same options to the player, especially if you have ways to get rid of the blood, which you do, ways to get rid of the oil, or sorry, the curse, which you do, ways to get rid of the oil, which you do. And the fact that you could just pick up the barrel and throw it right back up at them, lighting them on fire. You can also start the encounter stealthily by igniting it first, and so forth and so on. I'm getting into the weeds, forgive me. The terrain was as much of the combat encounters in DOS 2 as the enemies were, and I liked that a lot. There was so much you could do. There's so much you could do with the environment in DOS 2, and I just don't feel the same general thing with the encounter design in BG3. And yeah, in DOS 2, setting up your party per encounter was key and critical, especially if you're playing on the harder difficulties. But it was also a lot of fun. I really enjoyed looking at a situation personally and being like, okay, so why don't I move here, you go here, you move up here, I'm going to trigger with this guy, and they're going to do a ranged attack this way, then you're going to teleport this on top of them, because that's a thing you could do. And just so forth and so on. I'm getting into the weeds, I'm sorry, I apologize. Oh yeah, build variety was bonkers in DOS 2. There were no classes in DOS 2.
Prime spot for an ambush.
There were no classes. There was just, you know, what your build was. I think that's because it is Wolfster. So I don't believe you, Dr. Winter. Explain to me where I can haul around a barrel of something that kills people who are not undead on my undead character, walk into melee, deliberately drop it, and then smash it in order to take out a bundle of enemies. Explain to me where I can navigate to try and ensure that I throw a water balloon at someone and then hit them with my bow, which happens to do lightning damage, which shocks them and sends them prone, effectively pulling them out of the fight while I deal with the actual threat. Explain to me where in this game I could do a thing where I could cast rain in order to disperse what the enemy's trap is trying to do, or explain to me where I could fill a chest with items and then throw it at the enemy to do damage with it. Thank you, Colgrim, for a perfect example of that. Not only have those things seemingly been absent, I do say seemingly, allegedly, because I don't know with total certainty, but I have been told that those things were removed from this game thanks to player feedback. But I wanted to mention to what Wolfster said. So, DOS 2, for all it's good, falls into that problem that we were talking about with regards to Baldur's Gate 2. DOS 2 is a better game if you know it. If you're walking in blind, DOS 2 is a bad combination of lack of direction and overwhelming choice. My brother-in-law, we were talking about this just a few days ago, my brother-in-law picked up DOS 2, maybe made it like 2 hours into Fort Joy, and put the game down because he had choice paralysis. Because for those of you who haven't played that game, you have so many options to deal with every single quest and progress that it's just, there's so many things you can do in so many different directions, and honestly, very little indicates it. Another thing to mention is skills. I never intuitively figured out skills in DOS 2. I had to Google it. What I mean by that, let me explain. So in DOS 2, you gain access to abilities by having a scroll, which you read, and now you learn the ability. Cool. Where do you get the scrolls? Well, from vendors. Where are the vendors? Every NPC in the game is a vendor. Whoa. Okay. And you start to see the problem. Figuring out who sells what is either arduous, because you have to talk to everybody, click trade, look at what they've got, and know what they do and know what you want, or you use a walkthrough, you use a game fac, and search, I want this ability, that guy sells it, and then go to that guy to get it. In fact, we dinged the game for these things I'm talking about right now. So as much as I praise DOS 2, it is not a perfect game. It still makes many mistakes. Because, I mean, of course it does. So, in addition to the obvious stuff I'm talking about, I do feel like Baldur's Gate 3 is a lot easier to get into because you've got a class system. A class system that's based on D&D, so kind of pre-existing presumptions. Aw, it didn't say how he spilled the oil. I believe you, though, Doctor. I believe you. I'm just not going to give the game a positive for it because I'm just spiteful and dumb, apparently, according to some of my comments already. Who are you? You're a Dwagger slave hunter. He's currently in an ambush setup. Interesting. Also true, Kira White Noise. And in some cases, those scrolls, like some of the basic scrolls you can get wherever, but some specific scrolls, there's like 4 copies of them in the entire game. That's a slight exaggeration, but you get it. No, I deliberately decided not to because it was a pre-order bonus, so I wanted to not, mess with that.
What? Gek! Got someone sneaking up on us.
Hi?
What's this? Got ourselves an infiltrator? You move pretty quietly. Not quietly enough for my liking, though. Noise gets you eaten down here. Reckon I'll hush you before something hungry comes along.
His gnarled fist grips an axe.
Okay. I mean, I can be discreet. We've got one stealther in the group.
Fine. I'll let you live. But spoil my hunt, and you're dead.
So, like, what are you doing here?
Told you. Hunting. Slave ran away. Took Sergeant Thrin's boots. Gotta kill the slave and fetch back the leather. Or the bosses in Moonrise will have Thrin's hide.
Right, right. You're gonna kill someone for a pair of boots?
Sergeant told me to. Besides, we're talking about a slave.
You are so dead. In fact, I'm just gonna hit the attack button. I mean, I was gonna kill you anyways, because you're a Dwogger, and, well, I mean, you're evil. But, if you're just gonna that openly be a hostile slaver, then yeah, you're dead. All slavers must die. Asterion, I'm gonna respec you very soon if you don't start carrying your goddamn weight again. I appreciate your help in the goblin area. But I need you to, like, suck less, okay?
Impero Mortis, be conquered.
That's right, Asterion just perpetually rolls ones. Ah! You know, that's valid. I didn't even think about that. He is a vampire. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be vampirist. My apologies. The problem I keep having with hide, and this is a me issue, is, like, if I hit dash, I have to click to confirm. If I click hide, I don't have to click to confirm. But that means that it's, like, inverted in my brain, because then I try to click to confirm, and I move, and I lose the hide. Or I don't move, then hide, which is what I should do. I should move to a spot, hide, and then have the thing, and I don't do that, and I'm stupid. So that's a me issue, I'll admit it, but it does irritate me a bit that it's like, which is why I don't use hide as much anymore. Anyways, jump. Speaking of things that I've tried to get better in the habit of doing every single round. Cool. Cool, I appreciate you missing there.
Fast. I must heal.
Nah, you're fine. Alright, so. Hi. Would you like to participate in an experiment? Just, you know, for fun. Speaking of one thing that you absolutely can do with the environment is the shove thing. Unfortunately, it's a bonus action, so I'm afraid we can't be funny. Sorry. I do appreciate that shove's just a thing. Even when it's used on me. Fucking hag.
Luck comes easy.
And yeah, it's not like the encounter design has been bad. It's just I prefer DOS 2s, that's all. I like Burger King, but, you know, there's other places I prefer more, you know what I mean? That's true, Plutonia. The shove is overpowered in Worms. God, I don't even know. Can I even see them to cast? No. Just hide in a corner. Just go be worthless. Just like the real me. Freaking Dwogger.
So you're
Okay. You, Hey, you know, I'm not even gonna... So, okay, let's try this. So, hide. Then... Well, that actually did nothing. I mean, it was a decent shot, but... I think we've officially gotten to the point where our arrows are just not keeping up, especially with only one attack per round.
Don't linger.
Go ahead and pop this. Oh, I already blew the other one hiding. Alright, whatever.
I am pain. I am torment. I am death.
Those sound like bad things. You missed. It's about to pop second wind. Get this guy out of the way. And it's right up in his face.
This is gonna feel good. The hammer's gonna fall.
I need to get her a mace, just so she can, you know, be accurate with her statement. Plus, I think she'd do well with a mace. That's interesting. I figured they would go away. Well, whatever. Waypoint discovered. That 1 HP thing is getting a little bit too common.
At the ready.
It's definitely sus at this point, I think.
Fading fast. I must heal.
Did you just...
Festering bubo.
With finesse.
Interesting position for that, but sure.
Time to strike. Taste my fury.
Okay.
Heating up.
Oh, that's... Oh, whatever. I'll accept it. Journal update. Find the missing boots. We did it! Nope, it's actually still there. Interesting.
Let's have a look.
We have gotten nothing done today. I just realized that. Think about it. What have we done during this shift, which is so far about 3 hours long? We've gone through the Mage Tower, and that's it. That's all we've accomplished. That's vaguely depressing. Someone tell those people to stop chanting in the background? God.
Here we go.
Good night, Colgrim. Yeah, be cautious about the Ebon Lake. There's Dwogger there. Never be too cautious about them Dwogger.
What creatures live in waters this dark?
So there's a lake, kind of a sea, actually. An underground sea in the Underdark. It is, and I mean this with total sincerity, probably the single most dangerous spot in the entire Underdark. There are ways to navigate it, and there's ways to survive it, but it's all one of those, if you're prepped and ready for it, you're fine, and if you're not, you're dead, kind of a situations. Which I know describes a lot of the Underdark, but no, really. I would not recommend going there, if given an option. So we have a boot, and looks like that's it, actually. Well, hang on. There's a spot we didn't cover. Up here. What's in there? Death. It's actually not that bad. It's like nothing horrible or eldritch or whatever you're thinking. It's actually really, really basic. It's just really dangerous stuff that's perfectly designed to kill you in the environment it's in. And it's an environment that you are not designed to be in. There's a status effect which boils down to total darkness. And it doesn't matter if you have dark vision or whatever, because when you look in all directions and all you can see is darkness in all directions, even if you have dark vision, then you have a difficulty navigating. So navigating the lake is the first problem. Simply swimming through the lake is the second problem. I keep calling it like it's a sea. Once you successfully manage to actually figure out a direction and then go in that direction, you now have the problem that everything in the entire universe can tell that you're there. Because you are a nice, big, bright...
airborne spores, and they're everywhere.
Obvious beacon to everything that's in like a mile radius. And there's some fun stuff down there, which again is pretty much designed to hunt and kill in that environment, and you are not. What is that? A hook horror? What the hell's a hook horror doing over here? He asks redundantly as he navigates the Underdark. Why am I going through this place? I barely have a reason to be over here. Okay, whatever. Let it go. Let it go.
Best be on my way.
You know what, hang on. Let's do a short rest. Let's get some health back. Yeah, the wilds are supposed to be worse than this. I'm starting to think that druid's just trying to get me killed. Yes, I did, Dr. Winter. It was the chest, which I don't even remember what was in it. Some kind of magic something, I don't know.
Time to kill. The element of surprise.
Come on.
Over there. Another friendly little critter. I don't trust that tree. Wrong.
Run!
Now they see me. Be quick.
Was it the glaive? God, I don't even remember. It was something. Something deadly.
What to do? Should mind my step.
Naked looking.
Still in shadow. Unheard, unseen.
No one stopped me yet.
Yes, the druid was saving me from the horrors of the road. There was a McDonald's. There's a Dollar General. I think there's a Walmart up the street, too. It's, ugh.
What path lies before me? Open up.
So, this tree is something I would not go within a mile of if given a choice. But, you know, whatever.
Something good here. I hope.
Let's go and get the waypoint. And get into combat with that.
Health. We're attracting too much attention.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Victory awaits.
Where's...
Wanna dance?
Oh, you're still stealthing. Bilro the Forgotten. A level 5 Lolth Drow, so kill on sight, obviously. I mean, this is the Underdark. The amount of things that are down here that are not kill on sight, I could probably list on one hand. That's not even a joke.
I won't give in.
Yeah, we got the deep gnomes. Anyways, moving on. Let's see here.
Swift as my feet can carry me.
They won't know what bit them. Quickly.
Of course there is.
Let's cut the fire, baby.
That's true, Dr. Winter, and I do think the itemization of this game is really good. In fact, it's, I'm going to say this very bluntly, better than D&D's. So, definite point in its favor. Honestly, I've always been pretty disappointed by the spread of magical items in just D&D. There are exceptions, but they are exceptions.
Covered.
A problem this game does not have is the point I'm trying to make. Well, better than nothing. Apparently that was exactly equal to nothing. A favorite area in Lotro? I mean, the Shire's the obvious answer. So we'll go with that.
I will ascend.
Oh, there's so many hook horrors. Okay, you go... let's just spend your turn getting into position. So go over there. And switch. And just stand there. Actually, we've got some dye to burn. Go ahead and burn it. Yeah, I guess that's true. It's very GM dependent. Well, don't worry, Yura. We got your back. We got hook horrors. I'm half tempted to just do nothing on my character. I am so worthless in this fight. Let's do this. And then... just dash, whatever.
My love! My joy!
Okay, he's crazy. Kill him! All crazy people must die. Wait.
Just like old times.
Jeez. Stay there.
I will ascend.
Hop, hop.
Okay. And let that be a lesson to you. I did have one particularly good GM once who gave me a, I forget the name of the bag. It's the one that summons a random animal. And he was willing to really roll with that and just let the player go wild with their creativity on it. And that was awesome. Bag of Tricks, that's the one. Thank you. Unfortunately, a rare exception, but that was awesome. Nice jump.
On my way.
Dance macabre. Leave no trace.
I will ascend. You bow.
No, Yura. The jump thing is unique to this. There's other maneuverability and mobility tricks in DOS 2. Here we can jump.
Fuck yes. Got it.
Interesting.
Something maggot.
Phoenix Dive was very fun. Although you had to be tricky with it because, well, Phoenix Dive would cause fire damage, and fire damage interacts with a lot of things in DOS 2. Like a lot of things.
What's hiding here?
Battle has taken its toll. I should rest.
Hang on, hang on. Protector, guardian of the adamantine forge. From magma rose only in magma destroyed. Hot hammer, hot hammer. Where? Door knows.
According to these notes, there's an adamantine forge down here.
Okay.
There is a guardian to take care of.
All we need is a hot hammer. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. Any short rests left? We do not.
More for me.
Gotta grab this bark. Over here.
I got the plans and the Sousa bark. Now I need somewhere to craft it all.
God dang it. God, that's so many quests. I don't remember where that forge is. Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. We're just gonna ignore it. Move on. We're gonna keep exploring the Underdark for effectively no reason. No, I'm fine, Zara. I'll figure out whatever it is when we get there. Or I won't, which will be funnier.
No, never mind. Sharp, deep, and still fresh. Some monster did this, marking its territory.
Nice chasm there. Like you do. I mean, if I am already, as of this moment in time, skipping a third of the first act, then... no, Lord Heremont, but that's just me being me.
More are coming.
I'm not a big fan of...
In the nine hells is that?
They're coming. They're coming.
I'm not a big fan of hinterland-style content. I never have been. Even in World of Warcraft, there was a zone they added which was designed to be a big, open exploration zone where you just run around and explore. I hated it. I did it for a couple days, and then was so tired of it I just walked away from it, and have functionally never been back. So, tell me I'm not imagining that?
No. And it's unlike any I've yet heard.
They are coming. You are coming.
No, Shadowheart and I didn't... Timeless Isle era from Pandaria. It was an experiment by Blizzard. An experiment you'll note they never repeated. So, make of that what you will. I don't want to go up there. What's my constitution say? For no reason. Just +1. Cool. Cool. Well, as much as I enjoy the idea of being permanently enslaved, maybe we won't go that way. Although that is apparent. Oh my god. Okay, fine. Let's go get ourselves consumed by the spores. I always wanted to be a clicker. Yes, we're gonna cheat, Shadow Machine.
Chorus of turbulent music. Through one creature sing many voices. The harmony of an entire collective.
Sovereign, he has come. He is here.
The choir fades. A single melody rises above the others, brassy and commanding.
I am sovereign.
Mass Effect 1 reference.
Your lifeless body wrapped in fungal tendrils. The Sovereign is threatening you.
State your purpose.
I'll kill you. What is my purpose? Why am I here? Okay, okay. Let's do an insight check.
You detect a distinct quiver in every note. These creatures have experienced recent tragedy.
I don't mean to sound as like this is a negative, but honestly, anytime I find myself thinking, what am I doing here? I tend to think of that as a negative when it comes to a bad thing. I shouldn't use the term negative because that has different connotations. I don't always give negatives for this kind of concept, but every time I see it, I just think, what am I doing? Why am I here?
Fungal roots weave through your mind, seeking your true intent. Then the Sovereign drones a new melody, cautious but welcoming.
Descend to me. Let us speak in flesh.
The persistent music coaxes you forward. The Sovereign expects you.
Yeah, the Spore people are some of the most terrifying stuff for me personally in the Underdark. I know that sounds strange, but it's because most of them are really nice, kind, innocent, naive, and extraordinarily deadly. Like, you won't even notice that you've become part of the hive mind kind of deadly. It depends, as it always does, but still, I would never even walk into this room, if not for, you know, the game and the quest.
What's up for discussion?
Wait.
The old turnip.
Are you a vendor?
Seems the shrooms are letting in more people every day. You see a fella on his own on your way in. Dwarf. Balin's his name.
Can you describe him?
Bald. Blue tunic. Dumb as a stick.
No, I don't think so.
Right. Never mind.
So, show me your wares real quick. That's a lot of stuff. I wasn't gonna make the joke, Lord Harriman. Correct, Dr. Winter. And they regularly do. Can you even wear heavy armor? Can. That is rather expensive, but I think we can make that happen. What else we got? Probably nothing. It's not for you. Yeah, no, we're not going to beat that greatsword for a while, I don't think. Was Star Fox Assault a good game? Star Fox Assault was an enjoyable game. I think that's the direction I would go with that. Not bad. Looks nice on her. Okay. What do we got over here? What do we got right now? Just a straight up +1 greatsword. They're probably not going to beat that. I would say the best Star Fox game was Starlink. No, I didn't like Starlink that much. I would say the best Star Fox game is 64. 64 is one of those surprise. It's a tight game, is what I like to call those. There's not a lot of meat on its bones, but everything that's there is very, very well designed. You can smash through Star Fox 64 in like an hour and a half without speedrunning. Probably less than that time. But there's a lot of replayability, a lot of different routes, a lot of different options per original lines. Per original lines? Oh, I was reading original. Why? Per individual lines. Jesus Lord. So, like, even going through one route, you can do slightly differently depending on what you do. And it's fun, and the enemies are cool, and there's bonus things to do to challenge yourself built into the game. It's a very, very tight game, like I said. Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube is a game I unironically enjoyed, but would probably be a net negative game if I were to ever review it. I don't remember if it's in the Star Fox block or not, but if it is, well, we'll see if I'm correct or not. There was a 3DS remaster of 64. I actually haven't played it. I own it, but I never got around to it. And yeah, the original Star Fox is a game I think will score better than people think it will. I think it holds up reasonably well. I don't need armor on you, I need weapons. Which you don't have. Oh, excuse me. What about you? Nothing. What's your armor? You've got something good. Yeah, plus to stealth and advantage on cons. Yeah, the biggest problem with SNES Star Fox, and I mean this with sincerity, I think, is the frame rate problem. It is... You could tell they were just stretching the SNES hardware to its limits, and that's with an extra chip in the freaking cartridge to help with the console, too. Give me money, if you would, please. Thank you. We're good. So, you need some help finding him?
Knock yourself out. But don't come begging for coin if you find him. You try to ransom him to me, you'll find yourself skint and stuck with a fat old lout.
Who is he to you?
My useless husband. Sent him for an errand. It's no surprise he's made a mess of it. Reckon it might be enough to cover rent.
Want Master back. He treats me good now. Doesn't kick me anymore.
Okay.
You know,
Don't.
Her condition is familiar. Poison, derived from a wild weed common to the Underdark. She'll need an antidote soon, most likely held by the poisoner.
Well, here you go. Having an antidote. Really, Ross? Oh.
Ah, gods.
Whatever that is, I needed it. Why are you helping me?
Because you were dying of poison. What kind of stupid question is that?
No arguments there. Felt like a hook horror was sorting through my guts. But that cure did the trick. Quick, sharp too. I thank you for your help, but I gotta get moving. Oh, Carl's garters. Oh, I don't have time for this. My kin need me.
How about you take it easy and let me know what I can do?
Seems you're the helping kind. All right. I need you to rescue my kin. Not charity, mind. We can pay. We're Iron Hand Clan. Best artificers in Baldur's Gate. We were on an expedition down here when the Dwergar snatched us up. I got away, but not the others. The Greys have them digging out some old ruin across the lake.
Okay. What was the expedition?
Just mining for materials. Nothing unusual.
The briefest hesitation, but enough. She's lying.
But our work pays well. Help my clan, and we'll make it worth your while. I swear.
I'm just gonna be honest about this. You're lying.
Fine. It's complicated, but my clan has trouble back in the city. A blood feud. We were searching for something to turn the tide. That's all I can say. But it's worth a lot to us. Understand?
Try to explain to me.
Look, you've done me a good turn and you deserve the truth. But that's as much of it as I can tell, I swear it. If you need to go your own way, I respect that, but still, I'm asking.
So despite what I mentioned earlier, there's actually plenty of deep dwarves that you can get along with just fine. Even the more evil ones tend to be what I like to call organized evil. They're not going to just screw you over, especially since they probably can profit more from not screwing you over. So, yeah, all right.
Thank you. Only wish I could go with you. But here. I nabbed these boots from the Greys when I ran. I'll feel better knowing you're using them to kick some Dwergar ass. I'll mark where I made my escape, and wait here, I suppose. Not much choice, eh?
Yeah, I know she's not a Dwarger. I was just thinking, because... And I can't think of the name of the city, but we actually had a lot of good interactions with the Dwarger's capital city, which I can't think of the damn name of, because I always got it confused with the other city we kept going back and forth to. Was it Blingdenstone? I don't remember. But the point is, like, these people were pretty evil, but they could recognize that we were not, like, though we were a good aligned party, we had no real interest in being like, oh, die, evildoer. And we were just trying to help the whole situation, so we got a lot of support from them pretty consistently. It became our headquarters, for lack of a better way to put it, for quite a bit of that adventure. Smart evil, put simply. You know, Lex Luthor, when he's written right, will be the kind of guy who's like, yeah, no, here's my full support for you dealing with the big evil bad guy. And you're like, but why are you doing this? And he's like, well, because the big evil bad guy's coming to blow up the planet. So here, go. Deal with it, please. Oh, okay. That's, damning with faint praise, but it's still true. Thought about it, Dr. Witcher, but I had this giant neon sign over my head that was blinking saying, I don't have time for this. Points if you get it. Missing boots, there it is.
The Sovereign's thick fingers stroke the corpse at its feet. A droning melody greets you as the creature turns its gaze to you.
Aye.
Flesh talker, I show you a memory.
No, it's okay.
and listen.
No, please,
A
if you...
violent vision grips you. Dwegar, dark dwarves chopping Myconid remains.
They broke our peace. They killed our young.
The Sovereign's song slows to the pace of a dirge. It is still in mourning.
We laid waste to many, but intruders remain. Lakewood.
The Sovereign's song halts as it measures your worth.
I sense your resolve. You will find Dwegar invaders near Lake's Edge. Cleanse the rot. Destroy them.
Dwegar invaders, huh? I'd like to hear their side of the story first, but all right.
This is in no way a complaint, but I find it interesting because I've never heard anybody ever say Dwegar before. The reason I usually say Dwager is because that's how I usually hear people say it. I know. Made up pronunciations. Just, it keeps throwing me hearing Dwegar. We could say, I got your back, or we could lie and say, I got your back. But no, sure. Tell me of the invaders.
The Sovereign's song twists into images. Dwegar changing size, slipping in and out of invisibility, invoking craven divinity. An illusion comes over you. A Dwegar choking on a cloud of gleaming dust.
Accept this gift. It will help you exterminate.
Thanks. Thank.
The Sovereign gifts you one more vision. A wall of vines parting to reveal glowing light.
Riches of magic and mind. Cleanse the rot, and they are yours. You do the circle a service. We will await word.
Cool. But I killed them.
The music shifts.
Like,
Still
I killed them on the way here.
but now streaked with hope.
Do you hear? A new harmony. Serenity. I name you Peace Bringer.
The Dark
Fragrance
Urge Peacebringer.
waft through the air. Your heart swells with bliss with your every breath.
Freely you have given to us. Freely you may take. The Guardian Gate is open. Go and claim your reward. But before this, I have another boon to ask of you.
Okay.
You have cut out the Dwegar blight, but not its source.
In your mind's eye, Spore shows you a drow striding among Myconid dead.
Near. This one is called. He hunted us. Hunt him in turn. Bring me his head, and I will know my circle is safe.
This near sounds like bad news. Guess we could lend a hand, right?
Yeah, no problem. I got you.
The drow lurks in the ruins beyond the lake. Bring him death, and return.
Cool. I do like bringing death. In a way that overall, leads to a positive outlook. So... There's the other trader. There's some Spore servants, which we're not going to talk. Let's look at the trader real quick. What do we got?
Ah, a visitor. You're a welcome sight. But let us observe the customs of the locals.
The scholar's brow tenses. His voice spills into your skull, the spores connecting mind to mind.
Blurg, proud member of the Society of Brilliance, at your service. Or perhaps not. Your mind is far more complex than that of the fungi.
Thanks. Never heard of the Society of Brilliance.
Understandable. We are small in number and rarely stay in one place for long. My colleagues and I are working to improve conditions in the Underdark. This need not be such a dire, hostile place.
I recommend fire.
It's curious to find a surface dweller here. What has brought you down so deep?
I like option 1. Honestly, I got kind of lost down here.
A common phenomenon in the Underdark, I'm afraid. Could I ask what you were searching for to begin with?
Sure.
You were infected by an illithid tadpole? It's a miracle you're still intact. You must be worried sick, but have no fear. I have a friend who may be able to assist. Omelium!
I hope this is important, Blurg. My Zerkwood samples need constant attention.
It is. This adventurer has an illithid tadpole inside his head, but he hasn't turned.
No ceremorphosis? That's impossible, but intriguing.
Hi.
Are you looking to have it extracted?
Geich, your head will make a fine trophy for my queen.
Please hold. I understand your rage against my kin. One of my brethren forced a tadpole into your eye. Or ear, perhaps? But I assure you, I stand with the Society of Brilliance, not the colonies of my people.
So, as with most things, there are asterisks and exceptions when it comes to the Illithids. He's probably still evil, Shadow Machine, but there are those who are more reasonable evil, intelligent evil, you know, like I was just talking about with the Dwarger. There's some that just like to trade, like to learn, like to grow, you know. They got their own things going on. A lot of what's wrong with the Illithids actually boils down to the Elder Brains, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now, but let's just say the Elder Brains encourage the majority of the Illithid to be, you know, always kill on sight, in a way that's actually to the detriment of the Illithid themselves. So, the Myconids wouldn't like it if we fight, so fine.
Fool! They infest your head and invade your dreams, and still you would parley.
Look!
I ask only that you refrain from violence. I respect that your opinion of my kind may be charged. If that settles matters for the time being, would you like a diagnosis? Open your mind to me. Let us see what lurks within.
This is a really dumb idea.
As the Meloan's mind pierces yours, the tadpole pulses with power. It feels 10 times its size. Alive, awake, almost smug.
This is most unusual. The incubation period should be complete, as should your transformation. But the larva is infused with strange magic. It appears to be in some form of stasis.
What? So what happens if it goes away?
I can only theorize, but I suspect your transformation would be both agonizing and instantaneous.
I thought it was always agonizing, Omelium.
Well, yes, but that wasn't my point.
So, thanks for the info, because you can't get this thing out of me, and I know you can.
Of course. I am sorry I cannot assist you in its removal. But I have...
Oh my god.
An idea.
Oh, perhaps I should start taking notes.
There may be a way to bypass that stasis. There are many alchemical substances that can influence the mind.
Okay.
A tincture distilled from a collection of rare mushrooms. They have subtle psionic influence. I would require a fresh ton of madness and Timusk spawns. But be warned, in their natural state, both of these mushrooms can be quite dangerous. Timusks cause confusion in those that approach them. The tongue is self-explanatory.
Oh. God. Okay, the audio bug is gone. That doesn't sound like a great idea.
My formula will hamper the more harmful effects once the mushrooms are brewed into a potion. Your sanity, however much you possess, should remain intact.
Thanks.
The Underdark, of course, although they are quite rare, and their discovery perilous. I imagine Lenore would have them in her possession. She served Mistra as a cleric.
And where does Lenore live?
The southwest when I last saw her, although her tower does have a tendency to move.
Okay.
May your travels be safe and swift.
So, is your species evolving? No.
Welcome back. Have you made any new discoveries?
Yeah, can I trade with you now, please? Oh my god, okay. Yeah, we've already been in the tower. In fact, I think I already have both of those alchemical things on me. When wearer gains lightning, they also gain temporary hit points. That's cool. Especially if we're going with a lightning build, which of course we are not, but that'd be cool. Movement speed unimpeded by difficult terrain. I want those. Warlock only functions if it's bound. Whenever you burn an enemy, you gain 2 turns of heat. Interesting. Where it can see in the dark. And otherwise, nothing really fancy. Ha! Okay. I go some potions. I don't remember the staff I have. I actually have a staff already for Gale, assuming I ever use them again. Yeah, we'll go and grab it. You never know. It's always good to have a little bit of a backlog, especially if we just start respecking all over the place, which is something I'm still debating doing. Here, have an iron flask. Oh, what's in it? Nothing. I assume you mean other than the ones I've already got on the dockets, Yura? Or like just in general?
After the light comes the bang. Step away. Step away.
Okay. Yeah, we've only currently reviewed the 3. Which, I mean, it sounds like a minor thing, but actually that's a huge accomplishment I'm legitimately very proud of. I've reviewed 3 MMOs, Yura. That's It's not a small thing. But of the ones that are left that I'm willing to review, which include Elder Scrolls Online, Guild Wars 2, and World of Warcraft, obviously, see, the problem is the answer is WoW, right? That's why I was like, of course it's WoW, right? I suppose if it was like one of those, so I have to pick something other than those 6 games, and I magically have infinite time, like I could just walk into the hyperbolic time chamber, or whatever the hell it's called, and be like, nope, I'm out, peace. This map is a thing. Hey, I got the name right. So if I have, magically have infinite time, I mean, I guess the obvious answer is Asheron's Call. A game that I'm almost certain would not score particularly well. But it would be interesting to review and to gauge it and to, well, score it badly. Yep. It's, come on. Come on. But no, I am legitimately looking forward to reviewing WoW. Not only does it mean I get to play the game again, which is always nice, but I do think it'll be fascinating to review that series. Would I want to review FF14 1.0? Actually, yes, but only in the infinite time scenario. And I've actually already mentioned why. So for those of you who haven't heard me say it, there's a Minotaur up there. For those of you who haven't heard me say it, it would be to establish the floor. How far down can a review score go? Because I legitimately do not think any MMO, ever, any game, ever, will ever score worse than FF14 1.0. It's the worst. It is below Lamentation status. It is below Black Licorice. It is below Garbage. We will probably come up with a brand new thing just for that. And it would be interesting to see just how far down that score goes. Thank you, Caspian. Yeah, I played EverQuest and Ultima Online and just a whole bunch of others. Was it that bad? Do me a favor sometime, Ventures, in your infinite amount of spare time. At the very beginning of the FF14 lore run, literally the first VOD, it's about an hour and a half long of me describing FF14 1.0. And then I had to quit because I had a migraine. But right at the very beginning, go watch that. It's not super long, and it's just 90 minutes of me explaining in excruciating detail how bad FF14 1.0 really was. And I'm trying to find... Come on, load so I can see what Caspian donated towards. Here we go. Thank you, Caspian. I will put this towards... Cata to Legion, Diablo 4, and Gothic 1. You got it. Always appreciate you, Caspian. Thank you. What's the WoW closest WoW ever got to that? Vanilla. And WoW Vanilla is on a completely different gradient. Just whole other zip code compared to that nonsense. I've said it before. I said it during that particular VOD I just mentioned. Nothing, no summary I ever give you will explain how bad FF14 1.0 is. That's why I spent 90 minutes explaining how bad FF14 1.0 was. Just... It was bad. WoW Vanilla was playable and had good parts. And had some interesting ideas and concepts and Timask spores. But would I take WoW Vanilla over ARR? No. I think ARR is, for all that it's bad, is still better than WoW Vanilla. I know, Yura. I mean, I know the answer. It's because the devs moved on, and it's a new team, and has been for years. And the new owners have been on just squeeze money out of the MMO mode and not develop the MMO mode. Anyways, it's like half an hour after my cutoff points. I should probably pause at some point. Tomorrow, the Underdark. Again, more of it. You know my point.